Mary claims that she met William through a friend, and they would see each other at social gatherings. A week before the killings took place, Mary allowed William to use her washer and dryer so he could do his laundry. A few days later, Mary claims that William broke into her house covered in blood.
And I don't know, I'd been asleep for a while. I'm not real sure what time it was, but it was still nighttime. He come to banging on the door, and the door, my door is not a very good door. Okay, you bang on it, and it's not. And he came in, and he had blood on the side of his head. And he was freaking out, pacing the floors, and he had a gun. And
what kind of gun?
It was a small gun. I don't know.
You know the difference between a revolver and
I do not.
You know the old Western guns that have a cylinder in it, like a 6-shooter?
It was something like that.
Okay.
It was a very small gun. And he held it at me, and he told me to grab some things. And then he'd leave. And I was like, why? Why do I have to leave? And he was like, now. So I grabbed some things. I grabbed my purse. And the next thing I know, we're getting into a vehicle.
Like this is a sedan or a van or an SUV?
Like SUV like type thing.
Okay. So he made you go in and pay for the gas?
He kept saying it was an accident, it was an accident, it was an accident, and then he'd go quiet. And then he just had this wild animal look to him. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It got worse as time progressed. He hit me a little bit before I went in there to pay for the gas. As we were going down the road to let me know how serious it is, I listened to him. I listened to him, I do what he says, and I'll be fine.
Based on their investigation, the detective believes that William killed his ex-girlfriend Alicia and a friend Jacqueline before meeting up with Mary. This part could be true, but they also have evidence that she went willingly with William and she helped him with the next two murders.
Okay. Well, let's stay with Walmart. What did you get at Walmart?
Ammunition. Ammunition, 38.
How much?
Two boxes.
Okay.
He wasn't happy with that.
Did he stay out in the car?
No, he was in Walmart.
Did you buy anything else while you were at Walmart?
He told me a tent.
A tent? Okay.
Yes.
Anything else?
Oh, all this is my fault. Is what he kept telling me. He kept telling me he was going to kill my kids. All he had to do was make a phone call. He was going to kill me. But I didn't do what he said. Piss all over him. I thought I was dead, man. He strangled me down there. He beat me.
If I were to tell you that numerous people saw you and Billy following the person in the white car to her home, where the white car was taken. Hang on. Billy drove what, from the black car?
Yeah, everybody.
Okay, and listen.
Except for
Listen, you were with them because you guys were seeing it. Okay. Hang on.
Until down the road.
Hear me out.
Down the road.
Hear me out. And then Billy got out of the car. Okay, we're aware of this.
Yeah.
And then is that when you backed the car up to the driveway and that's when you heard the gunshot?
Yeah.
Okay, so you backed the black car into the driveway where the white car was, and that's when you heard the gunshot. Is that what you're telling me?
I was right right there.
Just next to the driveway?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I didn't see anything.
okay, so when you pulled in the driveway after hearing the gunshot, was Billy already getting in the white car? What was happening?
It was already in there.
Okay, what happened after that?
gas didn't totally follow him.
Okay, so that's when you follow.
I
So,
had to.
so Mary, just look at me and let's be honest with each other right now. There wasn't a third person there then. It was just you and Billy, right?
Right.
Okay.
In my head.
And then when you guys got to it's actually a food tiger where the parking lot was. There's surveillance of both you guys, Billy getting out of the white car and unloading stuff out of the black car. You getting out of the black car and helping to move stuff from the black car to the white car as well, and then you both getting in the white car and leaving.
Yeah, you see where he gets
All
mad
right.
at me.
So like I said, there was never a third person up there.
No.
Okay. Why did you tell me that?
Because I'm
This is-
scared.
Well, I understand you're scared, and I mean, the truth makes more sense than the story at this point, you know what I
That's
mean?
the truth.
Okay. Well,
And that's the only thing I know is
thank you for being honest.
I'm scared.
I know you are. I
I've
know.
never been in a situation like this before. Ever.
Mary,
He would kill me. He would kill me.
Mary, let me reiterate some of the other things and go over some of the stuff that we've already talked about.
we found the 2 large garbage bags of weed you guys have in the hotel. Were you guys collecting money? Listen, all BS aside.
That was his. And
Was he, when you were driving around, was he driving around collecting money and selling weed? Was he selling drugs?
No, he wasn't.
What was he planning on doing with these 2 large bags of marijuana you guys have in your
It's not
hotel?
marijuana, it's spice. It's
So that's all
smoking.
spice.
He's smoking it.
So
He's also-
he not once that during the time you were with him was selling spices. You guys were driving all over God's green earth.
No, I swear to God, no.
Well, why did he have you rolling?
He was having me.
But what was?
That did it. Now let's see what we can find inside.
He's the bail on it.
Right.
So I felt pretty disrespected.
Because it sounds like they would just show up and invite themselves.
Well, see, when Tanya and I got together years ago, her mom and Ron pulled this shit before, where they just show up, kind of unannounced and stay.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with. I don't think you do that. I wouldn't do that to my own family. You know, that's no social grace there at all. You understand what I'm saying? You don't do that. But they did it again, showed up. And, you know, bearing in mind my wife has just had lower back surgery, and I didn't want to make it hard for her.
And so did that surgery that she had, I imagine, being a back surgery, that probably later on she probably couldn't walk, or is that not the case?
She, at the very first, she was walking, you know, I had to help her get down in her chair. I had to help her get up out of her chair. I had to help her get into bed and swing her legs in forward and stuff. Her mom couldn't do any of that. Her mom's got a bad back and bad stuff on her. So, you know, her mom was basically just there for moral support, I guess, because she wasn't able to physically help her get up or get down or anything like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so, over the course of the week, you know, I'm watching my wife improve, where she's able to get up and walk around, go to the bathroom by herself without help, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, Linda wasn't making any, there was no indication they were going to leave at all.
Really?
And I had talked to Tanya more than once that I wasn't happy about the situation.
So tell me how those
And,
conversations went.
well, I told her, I said, you know, I'm not happy about this. I ain't going to live like this. I said, you know, they need to go. I am here, you know, I offered to cook her anything she wanted. Her mom, like I said, wasn't able to physically help her do anything. And like I said, I felt intruded upon. I felt disrespected. And, you know, I pay the fucking bill on that place. So that gives me some say. Granted, she's on the note too, so, you know, Linda came in and burrowed in like a tick and just pretty much made it obvious that she wasn't going anywhere. And she knew very well that I was not happy about it, because when I talked to Tanya probably Wednesday, and I left the front door open. Her mother was in the kitchen right there, and I left the front door open so she could hear every goddamn word.
Okay. Did they ever approach you about that?
No.
So earlier you...
And Tanya just basically told me, you know, basically she was just going to do what she wanted to do, and you know the way I felt just didn't matter.
So kind of disregarded your feelings.
Exactly.
We're going to stay here anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I let it go for several days, knowing that my wife is hurt, and you know.
So tonight, when this incident happened, specifically, what led up to this?
Well, I had gone out and visited some friends and went and had lunch and stuff.
Okay.
And when I come home, they were all gone. And I looked around the house, and it kind of looked to me like Linda may have picked up her stuff, like maybe she got the hint and left.
Right. Okay.
And I was actually upstairs talking to my dad about the whole situation. And anyway, while I was up there, I see him roll in. And, you know, I went down there and I walked in and they're all sitting there in the kitchen.
Your missus downstairs.
Downstairs. I walked in and I said, Ron and Linda, you need to leave. And my wife said, they're not going anywhere. I'm half owner of this place. They stay here as long as they want to.
Mm-hmm.
So I went outside, I got my gun, I walked back in, I shot them all in the head. Then I shot them all in the head again to make sure they were down.
Okay. So where was Ron at when you shot him?
Sitting in my chair at the table.
Sitting in your chair at the table.
And you know, when I told them they needed to leave, you know, they didn't make a move to get up. They looked at her and decided they were staying.
They just ignored you.
And that's when I decided, all right then, because you know, I warned her earlier in the week, and I told her I was very unhappy about this, and I said, you know, you're going to make me go off, and if you do, this is on you.
Yeah.
And this is what she got for it. She made me go off, and now there's 3 fucking dead people.
System shut down.
It was over and under a minute. You know, I didn't start off with a handgun.
Look at all of this stuff.
That's where it ended up.
Yeah.
You can keep
Who was the
searching
first
for
one of the 3 that you
whatever
shot?
it is you
Ron.
folks are after.
You shot Ron. He was in your chair. Did he see you coming? Or...
Yeah.
What did he say?
He started to try. First he looked at her, and he started to turn his head to me, and by then I got him. And Linda was all fucking surprised that I just shot Ron, and I shot her in the fucking head.
Did either one?
And then I turned and I shot her in the head.
Yeah.
You know, I warned them. I fucking told them. I guess she decided to call my bluff, so here we are.
Did any of them get anything out verbally?
Nothing more than a little bit of a squeal. Like I said, it was all over real quick.
So they didn't have time to even say anything?
I shot them all 3 in the head, and then I shot him in the head again because I thought I seen him twitch, and I heard her gurgle, I heard Linda gurgle a little bit, so I went and put another one into her, and then I come back around to where Tanya was sitting, and I shot her again in the head to make sure she was done.
How long had you and Tanya been married?
I don't know, 5, 6 years.
6 years. You know, I gotta ask Jesse, how are you feeling right now?
I'm upset, you know.
Sure.
Like I said, I didn't start off wanting to do this. I never wanted to do this. I feel like they pushed me to the point that I had to do it. So
you've given me a very understandable story about what's going on the last week, but specifically, can you kind of tell me like what has really specifically been happening between you and Linda and Ron for it to lead up to this? Like, what kind of exchanges have there been between
I
them?
haven't had no exchanges with them. That's the point. I don't like them.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to be in their life. I don't want them in my life. That's what the whole fucking problem was.
Okay.
They pushed themselves into my life.
Had there been any threats back and forth on their side? Nothing?
No.
No threats or
No,
anything like
but
that?
I did tell Tanya earlier in the week that I was really unhappy with the way this was going, and I wasn't going to put up with it. And if she persisted, that, you know, it was going to be on her. The consequences would be on her. And I guess she decided to call my bluff today.
Okay, and so when you told Tanya that the consequences would be on her, did you, elaborate and tell her what those consequences were?
I didn't.
Did she ask or anything like that?
No.
So it was kind of open-ended.
Yep.
Did you know what you were meeting at the time?
No, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew it wasn't going to be fucking good. And here's the deal, I'm a veteran. And generally speaking, most people that know me know when I say that I will do something, I will absolutely do it. Don't try me out because I'll do it every damn time. Take me serious when I tell you something, and they did not take me serious. So this is the consequence of that. Now I've killed them and ruined the lives of, their family, and I've ruined my life. I don't need a lawyer. I know what I did, and I know what I did was wrong, but the truth of the matter is I couldn't stop myself from doing it. It happened so fucking fast, I couldn't stop myself from doing it.
Have you had episodes or any sort of...
Yeah, I've been PTSD ever since I come out of the war. I've been dangerous for a long time, and I've been able to maintain and not get into trouble.
Sure.
I mean, you check my record. I ain't got nothing on me. I haven't done shit.
Sure.
But there's been 100 times over the years that I've gotten really close to being in serious trouble and was able to resist the temptation of letting go. This afternoon, I was pushed to the point I could not resist.
I'm assuming at some point deputies came and put handcuffs on you.
Yeah, and I'm...
In all timelines, you failed to stop me. Lost in the sands.
Hey! Okay.
Documentary. It's only the right thing to do. You guys are giving me your time to be here for this live react, and I really appreciate that.
Definitely.
So I don't want you to have to watch a bunch of intrusive ads and be skipping around because you missed stuff. At the same time, understand that this is work for me. So please, I would ask if you're here.
Oh boy. Please understand that. Please understand that this is work for me, guys. Thank you.
To enjoy the stream, please support it in some way. There are so many ways that you can support my content, like super chats, memberships, gifted memberships, and tips. We have a goal that I've laid out each night that I'd like to get tips to continue on this awesome support streak and this awesome, really, really great positive stuff that we have had going for the last several weeks here in my content, okay?
So positive.
So,
Very positive.
I hope that you guys will join me all week long and keep this rolling and support the streams and keep the positivity going. This is not going to be an easy endeavor for me, going through my history. I mean, this goes all the way back to my days in the fighting game community in my early 20s. I just want you to think about something.
Because fictitious.
How many people, when they're in their early 20s, are thinking, oh, what I'm doing today, someone's going to microanalyze with a microscope 20-some years later and expose it to millions of people all over the internet to make you look like a complete jackass, right? No one has to really go through that. I wasn't broadcasting myself on the internet 20 years ago, yet here we are. And so a lot of the stuff that's going to be in this documentary is going to be stuff that I never fathomed would be important to anyone. You're going to see probably big instances of immaturity, stupidity, dunce level thinking, because I'm a flawed human. And over time...
Oh no, the flawed human.
Dunce level thinking. Get ready for the dunce level thinking, boys. All right.
Of on me is incredibly stressful.
I think May 1st.
I am definitely not. Or tips to shout out, guys. On demand video instead. My incident truly has changed the world and the internet forever. Let's be honest.
That was a shame. I liked the premiere chat.
Like people who didn't even know what was going on, they were sleeping and they
were like really bad luck.
It was the incident.
Hilarious.
Shook them out of their slumber.
Oh yeah, I've changed counter right behind. You're right.
I mean, wow. It's pretty crazy. Anyway.
I know it's still there.
For people who don't know what the incident
only
is,
until it cut.
You guys are gonna laugh your asses off later on. We're not getting to that tonight. Spencer did another super chat. He said, lean and apologize For you need to and no comment when you can't say anything. You've already shown more contrition than others. Good luck. Thank you to Spencer.
Okay,
Now
whatever.
I actually have more tips to shout out. Guys, you gotta bear with me because I'm a grateful person for the support I get, so I have to shout all these out. Blue Kid with the super chat. The worst thing you ever did was look at Best Buy. Maybe. I don't know.
What about that scam Wells Fargo job you allegedly
Yeah,
got?
what
I
about that?
received an insanely generous $100 tip from Bohi Pans. Thank you, Bohi Pans, for a whopping 100
That's the Kino Casino
smackaroos
guy.
tonight.
The
here
whale
on
from Kino
DSP
Casino, I believe.
Reacts. For some reason, it says a supporter tipped $37. Don't worry. I know you tipped 100. That's just the message. Oh, actually, it didn't even play because the Skunkasm thing was playing there. So Bohi Pans, thank you for a $100 tip. I appreciate that very, very much.
Yep, we're almost 20 minutes now. Not crazy, but we'll see. We haven't pushed play yet.
$5 tip from two last names. It is very admirable that you're willing to own your mistakes and react to this publicly. Yeah, I mean, again, all my mistakes are public. I mean, the FGC stuff will be new for a lot of people. I know what I did, and I know how bad I was back then, so I'm willing to fess up to that. But most of the other stuff, I can't imagine that people
They'll only apologize if you got caught. Very nice.
Would
Robust,
know about it
even.
already. My fucking detractors are so insane, and they just talk about it every day as if it just happened, when a lot of this shit is over the course of 16 years. So no shock. I don't think we're gonna have any alarms or surprises here. You know.
Well, we'll see.
I received a $15 tip. Someone said this is a
It's never starting the video. Huh?
Nope.
Let me just
It's easier to count money.
That's cool.
I'm going to just say I'm assuming this is a personal message between the person who tipped and me, so I'm not going to read it, and I appreciate that, though. It's a very nice message. That was $15.
That was from Derek, probably.
I apologize if my pop-up messages are not titled properly.
Derek,
I may have to do this tonight because I thought that they all were, but then the $100 is $37, but then it didn't even work, so
He's on his sock, not Derek.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks like Phoenix
With a
Arts just
mustache.
did a super chat that says, well,
The
we shouldn't fake
mustache.
cancer. I mean, yeah, I think really, if you want to really know what I think is going on with this whole Dark Side Field renaissance over the last month, it's that basically people are now putting the emphasis and the camera towards other people besides me. I've always been the whipping boy, right? The one who everyone jokes about. I'm the ultimate butt of the joke of the meme. They're all fucking.
I don't need to hear this 10 times. I know, yeah. People discover there's worse people in the world than DSP. Is that what happened? Oh, okay.
I appreciate you all with the early support. I will shout out more as it comes in, if it comes in. Let's begin.
I'll
Ready?
shout out everything
Here
at
we
the
go.
end,
Let's
guys.
get started.
I want to
Dark
give you
Side
the real
Phil is a
experience.
game creator.
Great goat start, by the way. I love this choice.
And former
Classic.
fighting game aficionado
Yeah.
that has existed in the online realm for over 2 decades.
Wrong. Absolutely incorrect. I got to
That's- Okay, we lasted 10 seconds? Okay, 6 seconds.
I think that even was 10 seconds.
Like he's blatantly wrong on something, I'll call it out. But for the
Yeah,
most part,
that's what I'm here
Judah
for.
King is incredibly good at doing his research. So I
Good
would
pause,
be shocked
Philip.
if he gets things blatantly wrong in this documentary at any point. We'll see.
He has participated in the inception of Let's Plays, but has hardly evolved alongside them.
Yes.
Where most creators benefit from the window of fame, Phil, through insane spending habits, has almost nothing to show for it.
Correct.
It was only in 2020 that he filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, where the documents reveal his situation being even more insane than previously thought. Due to his open nature in that he will belittle his audience members while simultaneously dishing them for donations.
Correct.
I need the money, Phil.
But he's not pausing because this is true, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Why about his finances can inadequately portray criticism.
Hey, who's
against
that?
him, he
Who
has
made that?
Some guy slapped. Content creators, large, small, new, and old, avoid him due to this and the unique community of trolls that follow him.
Yeah, that's
Varying
us.
widely in intentions and actions, these trolls share the commonality of hating Phil and archiving his fumbles to great lengths. There exists a spreadsheet that is updated almost daily that tracks nearly every donation. The top donator.
Come on,
when the
Phil, you wanna
stream began,
pause?
And what game was played. That's not all. There are several search engines designed to search his over
Look at the
70,000
nodding.
videos that even have options to show the trend of word usage. And of course, a
Knows
forum with
about
over
Big Big Yo,
280,000
nice.
posts discussing him.
The nodding.
To start, I had no idea that those search engines existed. That's pretty insane.
Let's go.
Yeah, because they're not for
Search
you.
all of my video content for 16 years and look for words that I've said.
By the way, there's general
Who the
ones
hell
that
has
exist
had
as well.
that
It's not a very unique thing,
Right?
actually. I know it's cool we have
Yeah,
like the
that's
trend
true.
lines, but there's general ones
we
as
are
well.
1 minute 18 seconds into the documentary. and already something has happened that I had absolutely no clue about whatsoever, and I'm like, Godsmack. They made a fucking search engine to search every word I've ever said in any video. To what end would you do that?
Okay. To look up you lying?
Yeah.
Like you always do?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you get receipts, bro.
Anyway, thanks Spencer for a super chat. I sometimes watch restreams, and when they moan about your donations, I send you another one. Thank you for that. Cave Teeth,
Okay.
super
Wow,
chat.
dude. You're owning me by draining your own wallet.
Thank you very much,
Wow.
Cave Teeth. And it looks like Haseo has
I'm
just
crying
gifted 5
downstairs.
memberships to the community. Congratulations to those of you who received those. That means that you get my emotes, and
Whoa,
you
hold
also
on.
will not have to worry about the slow mode in chat. And if there's ever a members only like stream, like my weekend Sunday streams, you can access those.
I'm searching.
immediately, so.
I'm searching for any mentions of the search engine because has he said something about that? I can't remember it, but it's kind of in my mind. I'll look for it.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember.
I don't remember if he ever mentioned it directly, but
Wow. 1 minute. I already had to pause and talk for 3 minutes. Let's continue.
Not including science.
And you didn't have to.
yeah. Look at this, by the way. I'm gonna pause a lot. So just get ready for that. But look at the name that they chose. Like that, is not accidentally up there right now. Keith something.
KG.
While the film is
No.
covered to great lengths,
He wears it on his sleeve. What can I say?
information is never centralized or easily consumed, prompting the creation of reasonably shorter videos dissecting different elements of his life. This video, perhaps unreasonably so, will attempt to tackle it all.
Unreasonably so. Now that I like.
What?
And he did put that in there. The dark side of the moon. Look at that.
San Francisco.
What the hell is
To
this?
the U.S. population at large, November 8th, 1998 was a normal day. For the 20-year-old Alex
Phil won't like this.
fighting game champion, it was a
Phil won't like this.
For the first
VIA
time
getting some
ever,
spotlight.
The fledgling American fighting game scene was going head-to-head with the somewhat matured Japanese scene that had more financial backing, production, and the coverage and tempering than the Americans. The
Why aren't they
Japanese
talking about
champion by
me?
his opposition
Huh?
was the 16-year-old
Yeah, who are these people?
flown out for Japan to
What?
make history. The game, Street Fighter 3 Alpha, was the medium.
Now that he's doing this, I wish he would do a documentary on Street Fighter. Because, like, there's very few, like, really good documentaries about the past of Street Fighter.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish June would do that.
Yeah,
Instead
okay,
of
but he's
drama
not,
about me,
so
'cause I would
maybe he
love
could
to
play.
Watch this. You know what I mean?
Watch
Like, to learn all
Chinatown,
about
that one
classic
documentary
Street
about
Fighter and shit.
Chinatown.
And even the funny part about this is, even with what he's talking about right now, had drama involved. There was drama where one guy was supposed to win, but then apparently the brackets were rigged. So then,
Oh,
get ready for
wow.
those players, including VIA, got to
Dude,
go
that's
to Japan.
so interesting. You want to hit play?
Get ready
So
for a
is
lot of
fact.
this,
That has
by the
nothing
way.
whatsoever to do with me. I wasn't into the competitive fighting game scene until the last.
Okay.
This could go
Thank you.
way, though the Japanese had the perceived advantage. That's why Via's victory in the first match intensified the competition. As the match rules reversed to F3, Via had to win one more match to be crowned world champion, and so Via continued his aggressive strategy and tried to put pressure on Daigo. Daigo, however, began adapting and started finding openings, anticipating Via's attacks. Adaptation was never as important as it was here in the finals. Both sides were exposed to strategies they have never been exposed to within their local competitive scenes.
He is
With the
really young.
advantage on
Fort
Daigo's
Worth
court,
raised.
he won the second match. At this point, the outcome was hardly predictable, as both sides were solidifying their strategies.
Great commentary, Dave.
Oh, that was nice.
Didn't even tell you what was going on there. You know he's a Street Fighter player.
That was like an uppercut of some sort.
Yeah. He was purple. Look at that.
I'm the world champion of the fighting game community, projecting Japan's strength and their competitors at
This is a hell of an intro. I didn't know that I was involved in any of this stuff.
June.
There it is. Get Via out of here. There
Well,
it
it's about me.
June.
I'm not.
is. Make a cut without that Via part.
But okay.
Maybe he's
Christ.
setting the stage.
Jesus
new players to join the
Christ.
competitive environment that had only seen growth. Realistically, the only way one could compete is to join their local arcade scene, if they offered a competitive environment at all. While online play was non-existent, the internet did tend to the community by allowing a quick, cheap, accessible way to promote local or grand-scale events. One of these involved an 18-year-old player.
Hey, it's the guy.
Who's that asshole? That guy looks like a Nazi or something. Someone arrested
He
me.
totally does.
Yeah, he's heard that joke before, haven't he?
Yeah, okay, I'm glad you said it.
That's right, Blue Kid. My name used to be Daigo. I forgot. I changed my name. Whoa, hold on a second here.
Whoa.
Anyway, hold on a second here. So Bloom Kit, thanks. It looks like I received another tip, and it looks like
Bloom
it's a
Kit,
generous
thanks.
one. Wanna
Bloom
take a
Kit,
look at
thanks.
it. And James, like tip.
I thought he was gonna go through these without reading tips for some reason. I don't know why I stupidly thought that.
We gotta do this. 31. It has been pretty nice.
Oh.
Okay, we're felted. Hamburgers falling down. The middle of the Big Mac falling down. That's what it looks like to me. The middle bun in the Big Mac.
All right.
It really does. Wow.
Let's get back.
He
Big
does
Mac's
like
falling
food, and he
down.
does talk about sandwiches a lot.
Yeah.
He pans very, very hard. All right. And by the
Oh,
way,
that was him again.
Thanks for 18 bucks as a member. I appreciate
He
it.
pans again, by the way.
Ready? Let's continue.
Initially entering the online space with the alias Lord Moses, he had other short-lived nicknames such as Phil, Throw Like Hell,
Yes!
Labor Master.
So
Go
it's
like
not
Albert now.
Yep, not as good as Monkey Spank, but very good though.
Much for his strategy of using the throw move in Marvel vs. Capcom competitions that was viewed as unbalanced. Quote,
Oh, he was
"Everybody
doing that
said
from the
that
beginning?
victory
Wow.
was so,
Uh-huh.
quote-unquote cheap, and that I had no
makes sense.
skill."
Yep.
Unquote. Regardless,
I have no idea what he's quoting from. This must be like ancient posts.
AOL
Phil
news
was
groups.
performing well in his local gaming scene in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The next natural step was to attend ECC, or East Coast Championships, that hosted various
Thanks for the
fighting game
nodding, Philip.
competitions. Add to
Right.
that, he said he would attempt to go. Phil had experience attained through many years spent visiting his local arcades, an experience that would otherwise be described as a fruitless pastime. The elitist nature and other unfavorable qualities that Phil was
So I'm looking here for any Monkey Spank, but I don't think it's in
showing
here.
were more acceptable in these communities.
Look how long he's
than they
writing,
would
by the
be
way.
Others. And
I'm telling you, in these AOL news groups, Doomer, you've seen these too. People write a sentence, and Philip's writing these books already. And this is when he was like
Yeah.
18 or 19. It's amazing.
did have that one thing that made him memorable, his aggression. Quote,
Yep.
These little fucking wimps who call themselves quote-unquote thugs.
Thugs.
Quote-unquote top moguls. Well,
Yeah.
if I ever get into and I guarantee you, I'll be the one standing
Right.
afterwards.
This
Oh
is
my
this
fucking
is
god.
it's so dumb. It's 100% e-thuggery as they call it.
E-thuggery?
E-thuggery.
Was
We got movie sign.
because I was well, I think we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
In
Phil is,
school,
but-
I was basically
Yeah.
pushed to be the best I could be by my parents. So essentially,
E-baggery.
I was constantly studying, doing schoolwork and shit. My escape was to go online and to become this crazy e-thug persona,
Ah,
almost
yes.
like the heel of wrestling. Right, I'm the big man. I'm the tough guy. So I'm gonna go.
Is that kind of like it's like the Asian kid getting forced to learn like piano and violin and do like 500 different like things? It's like, bro.
Yep, correct.
monstrous shit to everyone. As
Look
much
at the
as I
next line, by the
possibly
way.
can,
And
to
if they
piss
pull a
people
gun on
off,
me,
and it worked. Man, people bit into this
Hope they have
persona,
good aim.
hook, line, and sinker. I'm curious how far he goes into it, because obviously I'd like to tell you what actually would happen when I went to the tournament and stuff. But let's see.
And if they pull a gun on me, I hope they have pretty good aim, because if they don't hit me with the first shot, I'll have already punctured the windpipe and ended their life.
Because
yeah.
as you know,
Let's
I
go.
practiced
The
with
raging
this at, like, I don't
demon
know how
on
old
him.
I was when I posted that for like 17 years old. I was just walking down the streets of Bridgeport, Connecticut, just shanking people's necks left and right like this. I was so
Is that what
fast, they couldn't
shanking
even see
necks
me
looks
move.
like?
They actually called me the Flash. I was just zoop, zoop, zoop.
Are you throwing ninja stars at people? What are you doing?
I was an idiot. I was just so stupid. I was a complete asshole online.
Unquote. This was in
Well,
response to the general
keep that
aggression Phil
energy.
received when utilizing his infamous throw tactics. While Phil's response teeters from excessive to entirely unrealistic, it does expose the way he viewed himself as a macho, hardened, threatening individual. And that's
Yeah.
why he chose his new name, Dark Side, which
Yeah.
was directly influenced by the song Dark Side from the band Crazy Town.
I'm pretty sure I might have told him this, but the truth is, I heard
Oh,
this
so you lied.
song,
Yeah.
I thought it was, at first I thought it was
good.
okay, but actually in reality I hate the song now. Like I was like, wow, this is terrible.
But it was still taken from the song.
Biscuit back.
Yeah,
Oh, Limp Bizkit
yeah,
was
like
great.
okay.
Now I
Yeah, okay.
Thank
okay,
you.
okay.
hear
Is
Limp
this?
Bizkit, I'm like, oh.
There's nothing to debunk here
I feel like someone
because
just made diarrhea in my
he didn't
ear.
say anything
You know,
incorrectly.
that's how it was back then. All that kind of music was very popular at the time.
The reason for the
He just
Y
wanted to
in
do
his
a
name in
scat
place
joke.
of the I is to avoid readers thinking that his name was anyway attached to the Star Wars universe, as that would be too nerdy.
That
Phil
would be too
provides
nerdy,
other
obviously.
reasons for his demeanor, such as wanting to act as a heel in this developing space. A heel is someone, typically in wrestling, that is an inconsiderate or untrustworthy person. And due to their distasteful nature, the wrestling community actually enjoys matches with them, as getting trounced on is the ultimate satisfying outcome. And
Right.
so Dark Side,
That's right.
as
But
himself,
just
was
wait.
set on practicing
Just
newly
wait.
released
You
Marvel
would tune up a
vs.
bit,
Capcom
K-Dot?
2.
Alright.
Though his palette was diverse, this is what his sights were set on. But there was an unforeseen issue. The game, released in February 2000, meant that it was untested and would not be at the East Coast Championship.
Yeah.
Phil's solution was to make a
Oh, I don't even remember this at all. It wasn't going to be at the East Coast Championship, and I did something about. I don't remember this at all. This is super old lore. Okay, let's see what I did.
You think?
Probably true then.
and Motel
Yeah.
6 with a $5 entry fee. The results are unknown. What is that Phil was ingraining himself in his local community.
Yeah.
And that he
I don't
just
remember. I actually don't remember at all what happened. I don't remember. I don't recall.
Okay.
I guess there were. I don't remember that at all. But
We got
everyone
it.
wanted to play Marvel too, and I guess they just couldn't get enough things. I mean, I entered a zillion Marvel vs. Capcom.
okay.
I guess they just didn't have it at that point.
I don't remember that.
I have no
Oh,
idea.
I really don't remember
literally
that.
have no recollection of it whatsoever.
I don't think that's him, by the way. What do you guys think? Is that him? Peace. I don't think it is.
I don't think so. That don't look like him.
Yeah, I don't think that's him at all.
Oh.
It's from that same newspaper clipping that everyone has seen, but I don't think I saw that myself before, and I didn't think that was him. So
See if he says anything.
yeah,
Let's see. Purple Wiggle Yum Yum.
He-
thanks for the
yeah, he
super
should be
chat.
able to know that at
And,
least,
looks
if
like there
it's
is a
him.
tip here to shout out quickly, and then we'll continue.
Be hilarious. He's like, I don't remember.
I love that's
I
I
being
mean, if that is him, he probably has
But
it
that's-
framed
that's how it was
somewhere.
back then. Like, I would
Yeah.
just take initiative.
He should
On the
remember.
refrigerator.
Long or whatever.
Yeah.
To have this game. Let's just fucking have a tournament. You know, my guys in Connecticut want to go to a tournament. I'll fucking drive. Let's all carpool and shit. That's how it was back then. I received a $5 tip. Someone is asking me what bitrate I'm recording at. Streaming through OBS, 15,000 kilobits per second.
Just
That's why
slip in
it's
their
so
DMs, tell them hints about the OBS, dude.
Right, like
nice and peaceful. Okay, here we go.
is the highest
got
ranking
it.
student of a school's graduating class.
Michelle Lee,
The
shout-outs.
bestowment of such a title opened doors of opportunity. Ivy League colleges were in his purview, but he wasn't in theirs.
Yale rejected me. Harvard rejected me.
Oh,
There's
no.
3 of them. I can't even remember what the third one was. But every Ivy League school that I applied to said, no. You want to know why they rejected me? It's this simple. Because I'm a white male.
Where there is Phil Burnell, there are bound to be inconsistencies.
Wow.
Whoa. He
Yeah.
finished the quote. He didn't finish the quote.
Just
I'm gonna see if he
wait.
finishes the quote. If he doesn't finish the quote, that's kind of messed up because that's not what I said. At all.
Well, you just did, but okay.
Well,
Here he
did
states
say
that it
it.
is because he was not reaching diverse enough as a reason for not getting in. Then later flips the excuse.
Just off of that premise, it wasn't my extracurriculars, it wasn't my academics, it was based off the fact that I wasn't a rich white person.
Okay.
Okay, now he said it. I'm not a rich white person. I'm
yes.
the assistant, the financial assistant. Okay? If I was offering to just pay them the entire tuition, maybe I would have had a better chance. But I was
Right.
a valedictorian who had tons of extracurriculars, all the qualifications you would think to get into Ivy League college. My advisor at my high school told me, yeah, you're exceeding everything.
Right.
You absolutely
Is that
have
on
a great
college
chance to get into an
applications?
Ivy League.
Whether you're paying
The problem
cash
was I
or
couldn't
not?
afford it.
No.
So I had to apply for
That wasn't on
financial
any
aid, and
college
the
app
moment
I've
that
ever
you do that,
done. What the fuck is he talking about?
There you go.
Nah, he wouldn't lie.
Just
He's
so you
always
guys
telling
know,
the truth.
I don't
Come
know
on.
if he continues with the
okay.
story. There were kids from my high school who were not valedictorian, who weren't even in the same level of classes as me, that got into Ivy League school. They were
Why?
athletes.
Oh,
So
well.
I bust my ass in high school to try to basically prepare for my future. I worked my ass off
Right.
to get a good future.
Right.
And then I'm told, sorry, you're white and you're not rich. We don't want you. You know, maybe if you qualify for one of these other check boxes that we're looking for, we would have had you here. But we're not looking for people who are smart. We're looking for all the check boxes.
Yeah, that's what they
literally
say.
happened.
That's what happened in my college. I had meetings with the counselors and stuff. They told me that many times too.
Jay, I went to my
You know,
advisor
it's
after I got
Sorry, dude, we can't do that. We're looking for not white people and rich people. Thank you.
down, and the advisors told me that. I said, don't feel
That's in
that-
his chat, by the
because
way.
this
See if
happens
that
all the
lasts.
time. This is not you. You worked your ass off. You're the top person at this school.
He will.
There's nothing you can do about it. Go enjoy life and don't feel like you failed because you didn't.
It's funny, I applied to colleges as white instead of Asian because white has better chance than Asian.
Yeah, there you go. That's
So,
the strat.
I don't know,
You
this dude
the
has it luckier than me. Fuck you, man.
That's the strat.
So there you go.
Another reason.
Thank you, Dick Jones, for 5 gifted memberships, by the way.
And well, yeah. By the way, big up to Cobes Phil pointed out. He did say June said he flipped the excuse, but he's gonna just conveniently not hear those little things the whole time.
Phil provides for not getting in is that he signed up for financial aid, which he claims triggered an immediate rejection from the Ivy League schools. Whatever the case, his future had more potential than most.
Yeah.
Throughout it all, he was still going to local tournaments. Here he recounts
Never
how the
confirmed
entrance
if that
for a
was him or
local
not.
tournament.
I know he never
doubled from
did. It seems like he would have said if it was him, I guess.
16
But
to 32 in just a year. He won this tournament, and with that, he is losing his potential. To make it big in this flourishing environment, practicing the game would have to encompass his life for nearly the next decade. And to financially traveling, he took out various credit cards as his job selling yogurt did not provide enough income.
Well, that's also not true. I didn't have any credit cards when I was young. I had credit cards in the mid-2000s, in which I financed my big Evo trips and stuff.
That's okay.
No, I
He's
did
getting there.
bust my ass at that stupid health food job, pumping frozen yogurt and making salads. And I made a lot of money doing it, and it all went into my hobby. That's the only reason I could afford to travel. I was working since I was
He's working his way there.
$7.50 an hour at that job.
I made a lot of money though.
Yeah, he got paid $7.50 an hour, but his boss would let him take off whatever he wants so he could go to tournaments from a post I seen.
Yep.
Enough to legally be employed. The guy who owned the store paid me under the table for a year, and all my money from that job financed my travel to play Street Fighter. It wasn't credit cards or anything early on. That was until like the mid-2000s when things got worse for me.
Okay, well, we're getting there.
Evo 2K4, the fighting game championship.
Tom Cannon, hell yeah! Look at the legend Cannon there.
There's insane competition in the fighting game community, especially from Japan nowadays, and it's like
David Serlin, epic man in the fighting game community. He's both loved and hated. Food shops.
Whoa, how come Tom Cannon didn't get that same shout out? What the fuck?
Yeah, for real. Is it because this is a white man, David?
Tom Cannon's done way more than Serlin since this point, I would argue. But all right.
The super chats.
No.
Okay.
I missed the old Phil. He was so cool. Thank you, Food Shop.
You know, who cares about the Flash?
Oh my God, it's APOC. I haven't seen APOC in 5 zillion years. He's a hot turbo player from back in the day.
Flash, though, make sure the gameplay is solid. No more stupid additions.
Inadvertently, the fighting game community is getting like a giant showcase in this documentary that probably 1 million people are gonna see.
We're 8 minutes in.
This may be like the biggest piece of fighting game stuff a long time. That everyone's gonna see the old FGC from my documentary. That's pretty insane.
I think DSP was there at the very beginning before like sure you can even like was a website. So like you could do like crazy stuff if he wasn't like a and you could like, go back and talk about that. But
no, what a great showcase of 4 minutes so far of a 4-hour interview, a 4-hour documentary.
Oh no.
Those were moments from EVO 2004. EVO, or Evolution Championship Series, was becoming the end-all be-all for competitions in the fighting game community.
What do you think about that, Philip?
Every year, the event
End-all
grew.
be-all.
It grew rife with competition, controversy, diversity, and of course, increased attendance of Darkside Phil.
East Coast versus West Coast.
There we go, boys. Oh, I will say, take credit for this. I sent this link to June myself, so I'll take credit for this scene right here.
Big ups.
I explained the story of the East Coast West Coast thing. But yeah,
This is a stupid rivalry I have with a guy named Shady K from the West Coast. We hated each other. We talked shit online all the time. And we wanted to do a big money match at EVO, and we both had agreed to it and everything. And then they let us play only one match. And then they just called the whole thing off. And the thing was, the match wasn't like one-sided. He beat me the first match.
Yeah,
but it
so
wasn't
you lost.
One-sided. It was a decent match. And then they just said, "Oh fuck it," and they canceled the whole thing. I was, huh? So what was the point of even doing the one match? It was really stupid.
Bro, he just won and done like you do now, asshole.
The real truth on that from Jaha, who is you'll see in this video as well. They weren't supposed to do money matches on that cabinet right there, or that setup right there. As you can see, it's in the middle of fucking stage. They have to do a real tournament, guys. Not worried about money matches. So that's why I had to get stopped, because like we got to do a tournament here. That's the real truth on that story from Jaha himself, who you'll see in the picture in a second.
At EVO 2002, the infamous Darkside Phil was selected as a sort of representative of the East Coast theater.
No, that's not true at all. This was a
Just
rivalry
listen.
that I had with Shady K. If this is what this is, and then we had this big match. So I don't even think this is Evo 2004. This is 2002. No, it's 2002. This is not Evo 2000. This is not Evo.
Irrelevant
No,
details.
it's not Evo 2000.
Actually,
This is B5.
just listen.
I think this is B5, which is before the Evo called Evo. This is the very first Evo. This is the very first Evo. This is the very first Evo ever. Was 2002. That's
Irrelevant
correct.
details.
This is the
Okay.
very first one. And we had a rivalry online, and we were finally going to play, and then they called it off after one match. Now I'm remembering. It wasn't even representing the East Coast. It was supposed
Just
to be
wait.
like a real rivalry.
Oh, this is gonna be good in
and
a
then
second,
they
I
said
promise.
that to be stupid and funny. Oh, East Coast versus West Coast. Yeah,
The commentary from the people reporting demonstrated how welcome he was.
They hate me.
Bill, you are not East Coast, please.
See?
See?
As
There's Jaha right there in the tank top.
noted his ability, when it came to Evo, the player base was at an entirely different level than he was used to. Losses here were common, and people did not take kindly to his hostility online, where he was physically threatened.
I was the guy who always talked shit. I was the guy who always was like, man, don't get in my face in person. I will fuck you up. I will throw you in a trash can. I will, I used to do that.
But in person,
throw you in a trash can.
I mean, online, he would,
Jaha speaking here.
Run his flag, post a lot, respond to everything, but when you see him at the tournaments, he just sits there, he's not doing nothing.
Why would I? It's
because you're supposed to have fun, interact with people, have friends. That's something people do at those tournaments.
Shit talk that you do, bro.
So you could do that kind of stuff.
You shit talk and do nothing. That's how everyone's done it.
Really cool, really cool. Very king-like. Oh shit, my bad.
Tournaments, he just sits there, he's not doing nothing.
Why would I? Again, I was being the online heel. I was the one who I wanted everyone to hate. So when you go to the tournament, you would want to see Phil go up against someone, and it got me a way to get spotlighted in the tournament. It also got hype, because you have to understand something. I shouldn't go full screen for this. The way that
I wasn't good at the game, so I had to become
here's literally
good
what
at
it
something.
was, okay?
So I was a
you
bit.
go into an arcade, or you go into a ballroom, and it's a bunch of sweaty fucking stinky-ass dudes, all right? A couple hundred of them. And you're literally just standing around waiting to play your match for hours on end. It's not fun. If you get to play the match and win, it's fun. But what's fun is to see rivalries, to see big matchups, to see people who have been talking shit all the time against each other, to have a highlighted match focused on, and now you have something to do instead of waiting for your match all fucking day.
By the way, the sweaty men comment is rich coming from him. The guy who said for your survival kits at tournaments, you need to bring 2 different kinds of ball powder. So that's pretty funny coming from him. A guy that was so sweaty, he needs powder.
Right? So you would actually go...
2 different types, yes. Don't
2,
forget that.
good lord.
2 different types.
Okay, I want to watch this. Let's see Darkside Phil versus Shady K. Let's see Darkside Phil versus Mixa from Florida, who wiped the floor with me, That was hype. People wanted to see that. So let's see the shit talker either actually deliver or get his ass handed to him. And it actually added a new level of entertainment to these events. Some people didn't get it and thought I was actually like a fucking asshole who was going to cause problems. I literally never caused a single problem at any tournament I ever attended. I never fought anyone. I never threatened anyone. I never bought a weapon. People who knew me in real life said, we know it's an online persona. But the people from across the country who didn't know me in real life didn't understand that. You see, they took it very seriously, and then there was problems with certain people, which I'm sure he's probably going to cover. So let's get back.
That was Jaha, one of the more hot-headed...
Look, boy, that was like right on fucking key, like perfect timing.
Right on key.
Like
maybe
dead
just
on
stop
perfect timing right here. Okay?
Right on key.
That was not afraid of confrontation.
He was talking a bunch of shit against like the top Marvel players, so Shady K was one of them, and Shady K didn't like him too much because he would like run his mouth so much. I mean, this guy would make posts that were like a mile long.
Yes.
When DSP was leaving with like him and a couple of his boys, that's when it was time to like roll up on him. We followed them outside and we caught him outside, and they were getting up in like, DSP's fucking friends' faces too, just to fucking make sure none of them got crazy, but they were all fucking shitting bricks. He just turns fucking white, and it's funny because he just like talks so much shit on the internet, But when you run into him in fucking person, he's just fucking, turns white as a ghost.
Because it's talking shit on the internet about a video game.
Uh-oh.
No.
When Jaha gets involved, like in these documentaries, he gets serious. Like, he kind of turns the anger towards him, right? He's talking to Jaha right now, because he's like, how'd you dare you Jew get Jaha involved, There's some anger here.
He remembers being pushed. He remembers everything people have done to him. Grudge holder.
Was like, oh yes, we're actually going to go to Evo and start a fight, and we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, there was never any intention of actually starting fights.
Right.
These people took the shit seriously.
Okay.
They didn't get the joke.
Wait,
they thought it was real.
the Triforce thing. He said he wanted to find Triforce, and they would teach him a lesson.
Yes,
that not
he's
looking for a
correct.
fight.
Find Triforce and teach him a lesson. So yeah.
So they're coming up to
And
Evo,
he's like calling it a joke, but like
he's
he's the only one in on the joke. He's the only, like, if he's like saying it's a joke, but literally nobody takes it as a joke, then the joke is failed. You need to stop doing it, right?
Yes. So
Yeah, and I wouldn't
like.
Go ahead.
Come on, man.
I was gonna say I wouldn't go talk random shit to somebody and think that they would think it's a joke. It's stupid. Like, if I go up to somebody and start talking shit to them, I expect them to not like me. And if I say like a bunch of stuff they don't like, they might want to fight me. Shocker.
a lot of people. Dude, it's a fighting game tournament. Where did you think that there was any level of seriousness? In fact, at this very tournament that he's bringing up, after we had the one match where Shady K beat me, at the end of the tournament, I went out of my way to find Shady K on the way
video.
out, and I said, dude, just so you know, it was all bullshit, all right? I'm sorry that I acted that way. Let's shake hands and just call it quits, and we won't talk shit to each other anymore. And Shady K said, no, I refuse, and he walked away.
Okay.
I don't blame him, because I was an online asshole. If that were me being bullied, the way that I was going at him online and being a dick, if someone did that to me,
What were you going at him for?
also would
What
not
was your
want to
problem
shake
with him?
him.
The real problem with Shady K is he was dating Taco-chan. That's the real problem here. So that's, I know we're not going to hear that Taco-chan today, but that's the real problem that Philip was jealous of.
But that's me today, older and wiser. Back then, I didn't understand that the stuff that I was doing online was actually causing people like pain, and they felt harassed and shit. I thought it was fun and funny, and that people were liking it because of the hype that it was bringing to tournaments. I had no intention of ever going and fighting someone at a tournament. Some of these people did. Jaha is infamous. He's had all these different run-ins and altercations at Street Fighter tournaments where he's gotten in people's faces. At one point, there's rumors he hung people over balconies by their feet. Like, he's fucking done messed up stuff like that. And he has to
said that was a rumor,
I didn't
though.
talk any.
Yeah, that's a rumor, so we're just trying to make him
It's a
paint
rumor,
him as
but
the
he's
bad guy.
done messed up stuff like that. But it's a rumor at the same time.
No receipts.
He's very welcome to. He's very open to ask him about that. So
Shit
let's
about
see.
this man. He interjected himself into the situation because he felt that I was an asshole. All right, ladies and gentlemen. In this case, I can't speak for anything else. All right.
Real quick, I'm
ladies
gonna
and
read the rest of
gentlemen.
this. I can say whatever the hell I want when it comes to the King of Hate. If you got a problem with it, you can suck it. I don't give a shit what you think. If you don't want criticism, don't come on SRK and post. It's that simple. I'm sorry that you're crying bitches because you don't like what I said, but too bad.
In this case, I can't speak for anything else Jaha
Here we
has
go.
ever done. In this case, Jaha was 100% in the right. I'm going to say this publicly.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when I look back at my behavior back then, I'm embarrassed. I am so fucking embarrassed that I acted like that, and I caused problems and stress and drama in a community that didn't really want it. I thought I was helping, but I guess to a lot of people, I was just the real problem in the community. Jaha was justified for wanting to beat my ass.
We're not done yet. We still have another Jaha segment coming, actually. So can we get through this before you start, saying how Jaha did nothing wrong?
Today, if someone
We're
acted
not
like
done
that
with
to me,
Jaha segment. There's another. We still have the second one. There's 2 Jaha incidents.
I would want to beat their
We haven't even cried and said we're an alcoholic yet.
ass. All right,
No.
so I get it now, but I was an immature little idiot and didn't get it back then, and my behavior was stupid. And I've already, by the way, apologized personally to Shady K for my behavior, and he has accepted my apology. And I really appreciate that he did that. So, yeah.
It only took you literally 15 years. I mean, literally 15 years to say, sorry, remember that thing I said about you online? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Oh, yeah, and he accepted my apology. What is he supposed to say?
Is this situation
Where do you
100%?
live?
I was
I know. I mean, what?
in the wrong.
What the fuck?
I fess up. I do not fault
And because
Jaha
Side Scrollers told him
whatsoever
to.
for wanting to fuck me up at Evo and at another tournament in the future as well, because
We're getting
his
there.
behavior was stupid. It was dumb. Why are we talking about wanting to fight people at a fucking fighting game tournament? Why am I saying I'm gonna stab people at, well, I didn't say I was gonna stab anyone at a tournament.
Jesus.
But I was talking big, like,
I didn't see that post.
Big shot.
Man, oh,
Why am
man.
I gonna say I'm gonna throw someone in the trash can? It's dumb. It's stupid. People just want to fucking play fighting games. They don't want to have stress and drama and shit going on. It's all on me. So I'm actually, like today, I'm not saying that Jaha and I would ever be cool, because I don't think he would be cool with me. I think he's hated me like forever because of my behavior 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm on the
Rightfully
same
so.
page as Jaha. I hate Old Phil.
Are you?
I think Old Phil was a little piece of shit, big shit talker, but then in real life didn't want to fight. So why are you talking like that online? That's bitch mode shit. You know what I mean? Why are you saying that shit if you're not intending to act on it?
Big ups, Meth Bear.
I admit that was bad. And I really wish I didn't do it, but here we are 20 years later and I'm being called out for it. So I guess, you know, you gotta face the music at some point, right? So here we go.
DSP was able to diffuse the situation by paying Shady K, Jaha's friend, $10. They arrived to that amount from a money match that was meant to go 10 rounds for a total of $100.
That's what was shown. That was the first match of the 10-round money match, and it never happened.
Okay,
So then
already heard that.
he's
Yeah.
like, pay $10. What? Okay. And I took $10 and I threw it on the floor. Right?
Right.
And then
Okay.
he yelled at me for throwing it on the floor. How dare you throw that on the floor? Okay.
Wow.
That was
Since
considered
it's cut short
disrespect
due
in
to
the
time limitations,
FBC
and
throwing
DSP
money on
only
the ground
fought and
like
lost
that.
a single match.
yeah.
Jaha
It happened
and his
with the
crew
Dark
were able to
Prince,
swindle those
stuff.
$10.
Sorry.
With the what? Say it again. Sorry. I want to hear
There was
that.
a Dark Prince was a player who got into a
Yeah.
fight with someone else for doing. I can't remember off the top of my head, but like that throwing money on the ground was like disrespectful.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
really didn't like it.
Bitch move. Yeah. Total
Yeah.
bitch move. Yeah.
That DSP had no obligation to pay. But even then, it was cheaper than a trip to the hospital. As
We
for
got Delta
You
Gold.
can
Sorry, I
say
missed
that,
it.
but
I'll read
here's
out the end.
truth. If anything had happened, do you understand how bad that would have been for the fighting game community? Just so
What?
you know, that was EVO Part 1. That wasn't
Oh,
at
God.
like a Vegas venue. That was at a university. So
Oh, my
we
God.
had broken out into a fight. Okay?
Yeah.
And actually
It would have
started-
lasted exactly 1 second.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a fight. He would have stomped your ass, and then everyone would have just moved on, and no one would have known anything happened except for you. Of course.
One fist,
agree.
two sounds, one fist on the face and one face on the floor, and that's the end of the story. And everyone would have laughed and moved on.
started going at each other. Not only would we have been arrested on both sides, because it was me and my friends plus them on the
Yeah.
other side. It would have been
He would have been
He thinks,
arrested.
he thinks his friends would have had his back. They would have done anything. They'd be like, ah, fuck this dude. I'm out of here.
brawl. It would have been fucking news all over. The
News
local
all
news.
over.
Everyone would have said, these players have ruined the fighting game community. Now we all look bad because these idiots fucking broke out and having a giant fight at EVO.
No.
Right? And that's what I mean. Like, yes, I
Giant
was an online
fight.
shit talker, but at least I was smart enough to
You're
know,
like a
no, you
nobody.
don't fight
No one would have knew him.
in
I
a
know.
fighting game venue that's now going to get everyone in the community looking bad.
Oh, right.
Jaha didn't know better. Jaha would have fought me and beat me up
Yeah.
if I didn't throw $10 on the ground. He literally would have done it.
I find that funny.
And
I'm
that's why
saying
a
that
lot of
Jaha
people
would have beat me up. Oh man.
like Jaha because he doesn't know better. He acts on emotion rather than rationale. He thinks he's doing the right thing by beating up the shit talker, but it would have made the entire FGC look terrible.
Okay.
So, you
That
know,
would have been the right thing
you
to
got to
do.
try to figure out what's the best thing in each situation. I diffused it by throwing the money down and say, let's get the fuck out of here.
That's not a way to diffuse the money, by the situation, by the way. Throw it on the
By
ground,
throwing
which is
on
a
the
bitch
fucking
move.
ground.
Yeah, that
Might
seems
as
like
well
you
not have
want...
done it at all.
Yeah, it seems like you want some action then, doesn't it?
These guys don't. We all don't all end up in jail, and then the FGC gets ruined because of us acting
Right,
like morons.
right.
Let's see here. So Soap and Clay, thanks for the super chat. He's Tacoma. I don't know what Dorkies is, but thanks for the super chat. Clammy V with the super chat. Punk and Zhao Hai had a kayfabe feud recently. I have no idea what you're talking about. I did not actually throat check anyone ever in real life, online, ever.
No.
It was just me being stupid.
Doesn't have the
But
wrist
thank you for the
strength for
super
that.
chat. Okay.
.com, or SRK for short, is named after a popular move in Street Fighter. DSP continued to expand his character, adding the tagline, "The King of Hate."
And the whole idea behind the King of Hate moniker was everyone hates me because I talk so much shit online, but no one can do anything about it because in person, I could hold up my end of the shit talking and win.
I understand that you got something you want to say
Oh, is that
about
what that means?
DSP.
That's what it means?
Nah, I don't got nothing to say about that little retard. Yeah, syndrome Phil.
I don't even know
Got
what this
him.
is.
Now,
I have
in
no idea who that
2003, Phil's infamy grew to new
Doesn't matter
heights
if you don't know who it is.
after he was banned from the SRK forums. Even the smaller competitions he did win will not be received with commemoration, but
No.
ire. In addition to the displeasures at his victory, was
Oh, here
what
we go.
appears to be
You knew that they were going to bring
Because
this up.
Spikes. Yes,
you
they
knew
would.
this shit was coming. The most. Okay, so my
Here
early
we go.
trolling attempts. Okay, in the fighting game community.
Okay, let's try to pre-explain what's going to happen here, and then we're going to get June's version, the correct version, in a second. Here we go.
We're basically me posting in chat rooms, posting on a forum, talking shit.
Uh-huh.
When that got old, I was like, this isn't really working anymore. I decided to go the next level.
I hope you're not saying that's the reason you started TopHaters.com, because that is not the reason you started TopHaters.com. Doom, you know why he started making TopHaters.com. Because there's a different other website, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
That was called TopPlayers.com that had, you know, the top players that didn't include DSP. So his response was making Top Haters.
I decided
Make
to
my
actually
own with
I'll make
gin
my
and
own.
horse-faced ladies.
Yeah.
purchase a website.
Uh-huh.
That would basically.
I want to hear that again.
Got
Hold on.
old.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't really working anymore. I decided to go the next level.
Right.
I decided to actually purchase a website
Mm-hmm.
that would basically shit on everything. Like, the
Right.
entire point of the site was try to shit on everything that annoyed me in life. And it was very over the top. It was very, you know, strongly worded. It's not stuff that I would ever say or do today. This is like 20 years ago. Actually, it's more than 20 years ago, right? And you're probably going to laugh your ass off at the shit I said on this site, because it is funny as shit in perspective today to look back at some of the things that I said on this website. But I don't know if he's going to talk about it. This TopHaters.com is a parody of a West Coast
There we go,
gamers site called TopPlayers.com. So there was this group of Street Fighter players that lived in California, and they thought that they were big shit, okay? They thought they were the best players on the planet. So they had the balls
they were.
to actually register topplayers.com as a domain, and they all started joining and putting profiles up. And it was like social media before social media existed, and they started
not
posting
allowed
up,
to-
oh, here's what I did at this tournament. And here's what I did.
To do it
and
with
everyone
each
else
other.
I know. They made their own website of their own volition called Top Players.
How dare they make a website and have profiles and have a place to communicate? Oh no! How dare
They're in
they?
their own
the
lane.
website.
They were just hanging out over there.
I know. They don't give a shit about him.
Laughed at them, and they were like,
Yeah.
these guys are kind of like embarrassing.
Yeah.
They're claiming they're like the top players. They're not the top players. But, you know, so I created a parody site called TopHaters.com.
Let's see if you treat it like
The whole point of
parody.
which was to basically
We'll see.
make fun of them. But after it actually got some clout and some attention from people in the fighting game community, they liked it.
Okay, this is gonna be funny. He said it got attention and clout from the fighting game community. Okay, you see how much attention those forums got. You see, and he bitches about his readership many times on this site.
I actually expanded it
The only
to be
thing
a
I
blogging
would say,
Yeah.
there's an interview with Viscant on the Alphaism radio shows, and
Yeah.
they asked him to like label like the top sites to get like your information, and DSP site was like the number 2 one he mentioned. I don't know
There
if that
you
meant
go.
it was number 2, but he did say, you know, where you got your information back in the day, and Top Players and DSP and Sure You Can were mentioned.
Oh,
But I
there you
don't
go.
know like how much
Yeah,
it was
I think that's
that used. But them forums are barren.
Yeah. You know what he's talking about? There's one tournament where Philip like shared the news about the tournament. Like, all right, well, it's
2003 Evo. That's where he
Yeah.
got banned, the Punisher account.
Yeah, and I
Colin
think
Tom,
that was kind of like
sorry.
interesting because people were interested in that one because you're giving updates, live updates. People cared about that, but we'll see.
site where I would do these over-the-top crazy blogs
Look at us, Polybro.
about topics that blew, you know, you're going to see. I'm sure he's going to talk about some of these right now. Let's see.
Phil advertising his website known as TopHaters.com. Further investigation reveals that this website of Phil's creation was a response to TopPlayers.com,
Yeah,
a West
let's
Coast
let it
centered
play.
Street Fighter website. Looking further into it, this is not just a response to Top Players.
Why we hate.
Oh no,
Why
the
we hate.
disclaimer.
This went so far, I'm not kidding you. I opened a mailing list, and I had hundreds of people say, I want to join TopHaters.com.
We'll see it.
I want to be in the hate army, Phil. I'm not kidding you. It got popular. It was a movement.
Is it still
in
a
the fighting
joke
game
at this
community
point?
the time.
What-
It was
where are
not
we at?
huge, but it was fun.
Yeah, is it a joke or what? Come on, green
Yeah,
on the
we're
green, big
still,
ups.
we're still joking.
I know.
I'm joking, you guys.
I got a mailing list. That sounds pretty fucking serious. Rita the Green said, what's funny is that the more he talks with a doc like this, the worse he's going to look. Sleazy fuck, yeah. The pre-explaining is very, very key, because you get his idea of what it is, which is not the truth, and then June says the real truth. And a great example is coming up right here.
Funny. It was
Phil's
pretty
lashing
funny.
out at his infamy. There is much to unpack through the multiple pages of this website.
It's a blog. Yeah, it's just a crazy blog about over-the-top shit. If he addresses certain articles, I'll tell you more, but let's see how far he gets.
Yeah,
Page
the 14-year-old
alone, he
girls, I hope,
challenges
comes
some of
up.
the fighting game culture he himself is guilty of. On the main page, he informs readers that he works at Circuit City. On this thread, he is hating on the mechanics of Guilty Gear, a different fighting game. His words and his culture do not resonate within the fighting game community.
No.
Even so, he petitioned for financial support, supposedly to run the website, while also complaining about the lack of users.
I consider this the first bag, by the way. I don't know where you stand on that, Doomer, but this is the first bag in my opinion. July 13th, 2003. The very first bag.
Is that the Dark Side Kill at Hotmail?
Yeah, at hotmail.com.
Yeah.
Info?
Yep. That's it.
What info? Your driver's license?
Yeah.
Despite a clear lack of support, Phil...
Actually, like I said, I had a huge mailing list. It's just that no one was supporting the site or anything. I was paying for it out of pocket. You know, it wasn't like, send me a ton
you
of money
retconning yourself
to keep
then?
blogging or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure that I did ask for like some contributions to pay for the web server or something like that.
June just showed that, sir. So, what? June just showed that you asked for that, and he's like, I'm pretty sure I did that. Yeah, we just saw that, actually. That's how the documentary works, actually. They show things that you did. All right, cool.
Onward with a new project known as Impact. As TopHaters.com was Phil's answers to TopPlayers.com, Impact was Phil's answer to Evo. And even though Phil can...
All right, so he actually didn't go into the articles on TopHaters.com. I guess we don't have to go any further. I was going to say, like, a lot of my style of stuff that I put on that website, if anyone wants to check out the archives, there was this guy in the internet back in the day called, I think it was Maddox, he was called, M-A-D-D-O-X, and he would do these kind of unhinged, over-the-top blog rants, just crapping on things, ripping them a new asshole. And I've been inspired by him
Maddox
to make those kind of posts on this forum.
I don't know what he's talking about.
To be honest, I was kind of inspired by him to
I know
do
what he's
it,
talking
but I
about.
don't know.
You know Maddox?
Yeah,
Piece?
he was on the best page in the universe.com. I used to read that shit when I was like 13
So that's
or
where
something. But
Philip got his
like
inspiration from.
yeah, I mean, but like, I don't know. I'm not seeing the comparison here because like, I don't know, like, Phil's shit is just boring and stupid. The shit that Maddox wrote, like before he went crazy or whatever, was like, I don't know, for a 14-year-old, it's kind of funny, I guess.
Yeah, cool.
If that's anyone pertinent who anyone would know today or not. I mean, it was so old. You're talking over 20 years old or whatever. Okay. All right. No, I don't think it's this current guy who everyone says is Dick Masterson. I think it's another guy that was way before him. Who I was inspired by his post to make that site and be like that. So.
Continued to attend, he sought to make his own large-scale event. Quote, it's obvious that Impact is going to compete heavily with Evo. Unquote.
Oh, it's obvious.
On the threads created by Phil to promote Impact that included fundraising, brainstorming ideas, and other items meant to trigger discussion, on average would have at most a single other response. He was also the only respondent to the majority of Phil's posts. Even threads discussing how much Phil sucked garnered more attention on his website than Impact. Top Haters got him.
The most popular forum posts were how much Phil sucked.
Again, this wasn't serious. The entire site was a troll attempt.
Irrelevant.
You understand? Like, the whole thing was a big troll pop. And the whole idea that I was going to run a tournament to compete with Evo, how? The Cannon brothers have tons of money.
Didn't he tell LTG he'd do a first to 10 and it would eclipse Evo, like, very recently?
Yes, within the last 12 months for that, for sure, yes.
To fund Evo, to make it happen. I was a kid working at Circuit City with no money. How was I going to start
21-year-old kid
a competition tournament to Evo? It was a joke. The funny part
I
is,
also think
what I don't understand, it pissed
Todd
me.
Dwyer guy and Jet Fee had more to do with this too than, I don't know what else June is going to go into with the site, but Todd Dwyer I know had probably more hands on this because he got into beefs with Inkblot on SRK.
Yeah, so Inkblot is one of the cannons. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, I can't remember which one is putting the screen names, but he used to do the ECCs, and I believe he ran the first ECCs, even the Street Fighter Alpha thing before it was ECC.
I know one of the reasons that Philip got banned for like 3 or 4 times he got banned from SRK was promoting Top Haters. come check out my site on SRK, which is against the rules. So, but yeah.
He was banned from their IRC too, and the Canons gave him a public apology on SRK. I was trying to find it, but I can't find it.
So yeah, he was also banned for that penis, the joystick, huge penis picture with the African
combo
American,
master.
yeah, African American gentleman on the couch with a huge penis. That was another banning. I can't remember the other two, but.
The Cannon brothers and the people who ran Evo, like Mr. Wizard and everything, were really angry with me that I would say I was going to run a tournament the same weekend as Evo. They're like, come on, man. No one does that. No one runs a tournament the same weekend as
this is
someone
the
else's tournament.
Zerlor,
Why would you do
Todd
that?
Dwyer. He got yelled at for this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I seen on the forum. It was
upset,
dude Todd,
even though it was a
not
joke.
DSP.
It was totally never intended that it was going to be like a real thing. I didn't have money for a venue. I didn't have money to roll in arcade machines and shit. It never was going to happen.
Then why did you have a fundraising post about how can we raise money for this? I mean, that seems pretty serious to me, but all right.
Tom was a failed project.
Yes.
DSP now espoused to this negativity will not use his character to his benefit. Instead, he used it to attack beloved franchises like Counter-Strike and Warcraft 3.
And again, it's a joke. I played Counter-Strike and Warcraft 3. I played them and liked those games. This was supposed to be me going crazy, over-the-top rants to get attention. It was very stupid.
Even then, that was only a distraction from his assaults at fighting game culture. Here, he lambasted what was known in the fighting game community as...
What's up with all those combo videos?
Oh, he's still doing this.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He has the same
All right, I
opinion
found
to
the
this
origin
day.
of this.
Let's see how much let's see if he says this is a joke too.
Uh-huh.
Can you not tell it's a troll out?
I cannot tell it's a troll
This
out.
is real? Why would I say that combo videos are bad back then? If you got a combo video, it was like a golden opportunity to learn tech in a fighting game without being physically at a tournament, seeing someone do it. There was no YouTube. There was no fucking Twitch. So, of course, combo videos were great. They were a great resource. But I would be a fucking contrarian. And I would literally say, oh, it's terrible. What a bunch of losers to make those videos. And then people would be upset. That was the point. I was the heel. Get it? That's the joke.
Combo videos.
That's
In
the
the
joke.
early
I was an
days,
asshole.
That's
Let's
the
go.
joke. Get it?
The fighting game community, CDs were exchanged in person. These carried videos of various combos or tactics one could utilize, yet the existence of them were also controversial as groups could gatekeep the data. Now with the internet in play and data shared at a faster pace, tactics and their discovery were virtually immediately adapted and the matter was becoming solidified. Even still, the combo video situation is more complex than just defining metas, as DSP points out.
Yes.
Quote, in some cases, the combo videos are single character only or console only.
Seems like a pretty
unquote.
serious take, huh,
The
Philip?
last bit is of utter importance. Now mid-2004, arcades have long been losing their purpose.
Seems like that was a very non-jokey take for me, doesn't it? I mean, does this seem like someone that's making a joke? I mean, this seems pretty serious.
It's an Andy Warhol thing.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Mid-2004, arcades have long been losing their purpose to the increasingly popular home video game console and a switch of competitions. Prioritizing consoles could increase accessibility for players.
We're entering the console arc, everyone. This is the big thing that everyone always made fun of me, and the FGC tried to discredit me.
Okay,
for the
let's explain what's
console
gonna
arc.
happen.
Of course, it's going to be blown apart.
Yep.
I wonder how deep June goes into it. We're going to find out if he actually research and justifies or not. We'll find out, okay? We'll see if he gives me a fair shake here.
Yeah, I guess we will.
For a membership, I appreciate that. Jabril did a super chat saying this will be a hard watch. Also, Network D. Being able to back up young DSP. Like I said, literally, if I were in Jaha's shoes, I would want to beat up young DSP because he's an asshole. Now, I would know better than to try to start a problem at a tournament and get everyone into big trouble, get a bad reputation for the community. But seriously, like, I was a complete piece of shit. I'm 100% in agreement with Jaha on that one. Yeah, I deserved it. I deserved an ass whooping at that time because I was a troublemaker. I received a $2.25 tip.
So if John whoops his ass now, can it be like a deferred ass whooping? Will you agree with that?
It was on layaway.
Yelling at him for shit like that, saying, dude, this is why you're not allowed anymore. So, you tell me. Okay?
Okay.
No, and I'm well aware that Jaha still talks about me today. Like I said, I think he just has like a lifelong grudge against me, even though literally I don't care about the man. I wish him the best. I hope he has a good life. I'm sorry for the problems that I caused when I was a young asshole. I have no intention of causing those kind of problems in the modern day. That's for sure. Dick Jones with 5 more gifted memberships
but if you wanted
to the
to, but
community.
all right.
Thank you, Dick Jones. I appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you, Dick Jones.
And allow for significantly cheaper and easier to manage components as consoles and their elements could be set up and altered with ease. This transition was controversial only for those brought up in arcade culture and those in competitive gaming communities. When a game, like Street Fighter for example, is ported from the superior hardware of an arcade cabinet to the limited or vastly different video game console,
explain this
color,
very well.
resolution, and most importantly mechanics could differ based on the port. And though the technology and quality control had improved, it was still not good enough. It was a jump that would eventually have to be made, but perhaps it was too soon.
Evolution console? No, it's my worst nightmare, dude. I'm an arcade player. I hear you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if this is the future, we're gonna have to. It's evolving, so we're gonna have to adapt. All right. Personally, I don't like it, but
look at that.
You know, no choice.
And that's exactly what they refused to do. They refused.
What? He just said I have to adapt. So.
Oh, you heard him wrong.
No choice.
Yes, you heard
That's
him right.
exactly what they refused to do.
The
They
future refused to
adapt.
change.
They all didn't practice, and they got hosed. You're
Just
about to see the story
okay,
right
yeah.
now.
That was Alex Valle at EVO 2004, sharing what was the popular opinion among the top fighting game players. And to the displeasure of many, their worst nightmare would manifest in ways they could hardly predict.
Ready?
What? You failed that one, didn't you?
GC beat them all. I want you to think about that for a second. When hated,
I'm skipping it,
players
sorry.
or
Too
out.
cringe, too cringe. I
There,
can't, too
cannot
cringe.
delete the
Fourth
screen.
place.
It is there forever.
Too cringe.
Americans at the
Too cringe.
that I just did what I did that year.
Okay, please let June is gonna handle this. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. June has a
And that's
handle
why
on
they
with
all
this
hate-
next
they can't
segment.
stay- the biggest troll couldn't believe.
Maybe they hate you because you're a dick.
Yeah, I think that was probably a big part of it.
EVO 2005 would live in infamy for its decision to use the PlayStation port of Street Fighter II Turbo and the outcome of the matches. Both.
It only would live in infamy if I won. Let's be clear here. Let's be
What?
very fair. If Alex Valle, John Choi, Mike Watson, all right, the big three,
The three
or any
kings.
Japanese players or whatever, if they were the top placers, it would have been perfectly fine. But because Darkside Phil got fourth place and beat all the Americans,
Fourth place
that's
doesn't
why
get
the
anything,
tournament
I'm
says
sorry.
it lives in
Thank you,
infamy,
Justin.
right? That's the only fucking reason. They hated me, so they discredit the tournament. You know, I know what the most fucked up part about that is? Because I said this before, actually
Sound
reacting
pretty
to a different
salty,
documentary.
man.
When
I
they
know.
say that, do you not understand you've discredited the top 3 Japanese players? Now, everyone knew that the Japanese were the best players. So why is
You
it that the
discredit them.
Japanese were able to get the
Yeah.
top 3 spots
By
easily,
walking
no
around like you're a
problem,
king. You
but
got
all the other
fourth. Get
American
outta
players
here.
couldn't hang, and I beat them all. Did you hear the Japanese say, man, this thing's a piece of shit. I can't play this version of the game. No, they practiced the
No,
version.
you heard him
they
say
came
Ding
to
Dong Die.
Yeah.
Evo, they
Who
dominated.
cares what they say
won
in
as expected.
Japan?
So why couldn't the other players do that? Instead, they all sat there whining and stomping their feet that they didn't like the version. I can't play it the way I like to play, blah, blah, blah. And then they got handed their asses in a paper bag by me.
Well,
They
Valle
can't take
chose.
that away.
The
It doesn't
way he
believe-
said me.
I believe Valle chose not to even play. I believe. I'm not. Might be wrong on that. Let me see. I
Out of
can't
the
remember.
inferior version, the Japanese adapted, I adapted, you adapt too. But they didn't like the fact that they didn't like me and I kicked their ass.
They didn't like the fact that they didn't like me.
That was the problem.
Will receive protest in one way or another.
In 2005,
is the problem. 2. But they didn't like the fact that they didn't like me and I
Sound good?
They didn't like the fact.
in 2005,
I think they love the fact that they didn't like you. Actually,
I think it was. The 3 of you were absent from ST Top 8. What happened that year?
When you play Bison and you hit a Fierce Flame and it only goes like 20% of the screen, you got a problem with the game. And you got some idiot named DSP who's a total piece of shit, by the way.
John Choi on the left, Mike Watson in the middle, Alex Valle on the right. There they are, the top 3
Three
American
kings.
players in
I got a
Super
card
Turbo,
called Three
arguably
Kings
of
for
all
them.
time, and here they are talking shit about them, okay?
Look at those
I
kings.
like to get that on YouTube.
And this was from 2010. This is the video from 2010. I had long retired. I wasn't a competitive player anymore. I had stopped attending
Who
Evo
cares?
since 2007.
Irrelevant.
So I'm long removed from the fighting game community. I'm not
Retired
talking
like
about
in
these men. I don't care
2002
about
too.
them. I'm a YouTuber.
I'm not talking
They
about
were
how
asked-
many times.
They were asked a question about you. What are they supposed to do? That was a long time ago. When I mean a long time
That's
ago,
forever
5 years
ago. He's probably changed. In fact, now I love him and his content. Here's a $50 tip.
I'm making YouTube
What's
no.
he
videos,
supposed to
having
do?
fun. It's my hobby. And they decide in a 2010 interview to dunk on DSP.
To
who
ask
doesn't
a
talk
question
them and
about
doesn't care
the ear. Okay.
So I've been in their mind rent-free at this point for the greater part of, 5 years since
They were asked a question.
I placed at EVO 2005. They just can't forget the fact that I beat them all.
Too. But this guy thought he was hot shit because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like fucking
Yeah,
Neo
Vi didn't
Geo
enter, yeah.
conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude.
First of all, I have to bring this up.
Please.
Alex Valle did not enter this tournament.
Yeah.
Spelled his name wrong, June. It's V-A-L-L-E. There's
That's
no
the important
second
part.
E in there. It's V-A-L-L-E.
Thank you,
But,
June.
I mean, the
Thank
video's
you.
already published. Kind of sucks. Maybe
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want to
it
put a
is.
correction for his name there.
He claimed he was busy.
Does he think
and
that,
couldn't
that
show
June
up.
is watching him watch this? For a
Yes,
week?
he is.
Yes.
He's the
Absolutely
king. Why
yes.
wouldn't he
He
win?
was like, oh, I'm protesting Evo because they're not holding Arcade Super Turbo. I don't want to enter or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yet he was still there, but he didn't enter. He did not enter the tournament. I'm gonna
Not
name
reading
some
that,
names
Matt's
now,
fair.
people who I played and beat
Thank
that
you,
day.
but not
In
reading.
the Super Turbo for the PS1 that you might be like, what the fuck? Jason Wilson, Mike Watson. Pretty sure I played John Choi and I beat him too.
DSP at EVO 2005 surged in the ranks for Street Fighter II Turbo, a feat that was achieved through a superior knowledge of the game.
Yeah, so June being
Wow,
honest here.
wait a minute. Someone actually gave me credit. June says I won because I had superior knowledge of the game, which is what you do when you want to win in a competition. You learn what's going to be played in the competition. Correct?
June already said that, all right?
I can't believe it. I actually got some respect from someone.
I don't
For
think he
fighting
respects
games?
you, David.
No.
Yeah, I don't think
You should watch the rest of this 4-hour video before you.
Hallelujah.
Let him finish it,
Finally,
please.
Someone admits that I actually studied the game and that's why I did well. I can't believe
Can we
it.
finish this segment,
Wow.
please? Before we start
Okay.
During
filleting?
that period of time, I learned some major differences about the game, including the fact that some characters were different sizes. They weren't as tall or as short as they were supposed to be, and they had different hitboxes. I found out certain characters did different stun amounts than they did in Arcade Super Turbo. I found out that one of my characters, Vega, was incredibly easy to do these complex combos with, which actually was harder to do in the arcade version of the game.
The beauty of Phil's achievement, and now beating all of his American opponents in EVO 2005, is that he touts his knowledge as a fair advantage. But when he goes up against the Japanese players who also dedicated themselves to the port without protest, he changes his tone.
Oh, wait a second, Philip. Huh? That's sweet. What?
I do.
No.
I don't know. They beat my ass because they're better than
Oh,
me.
what I
Because
do?
they play way more than me.
What?
Because,
Huh?
because they have more knowledge than me. Because they're better players. Those Japanese players, dude, they're hardcore. Like a lot of American players, for us, it's a hobby. Those people live and breathe fucking Street Fighter. Those guys.
What do you
are
mean,
so
those
ridiculously
people?
hardcore. They have
Like you were doing at this time, Philip? Writing literal books on forums every fucking day? Going across the
All the
country
Japanese
for
are going
tournaments?
bankrupt.
Yeah. Going across the country on cash advances? You weren't living and breathing this game right now? What?
Culture.
It was a joke.
We're going to
It
arcades
was a joke.
and practicing and shit.
yeah.
You can't hang with them. It's a miracle if you beat a Japanese player at a fucking competitive fighting game. So I don't know what I said. Maybe I shat on them. Let's see what he says here, or what I said.
Maybe.
Now I was in
All
the
right.
position,
Maybe.
boom, if I win like 1 to 2 more matches, I could win the whole event. And then my final match in the tournament was against Tokido, who picked a mirror. We did a mirror match of Vega.
Yep.
And he knew a few things about Vega that I didn't about the mirror match. And just because he knew those few things, he got the jump on me. And I remember distinctly making 1 to 2 major blunders that people were like, why did he do that? I don't know. You know, I
There
was
we
on the
go.
stage. I was
That's
playing
in
in
Phil's
front of
chat, by the
1,000
way.
or 2 people. And I was, I fucked up, I admit. He beat me. And so what ended up happening, I got 4th place. The top 3 places were all Japanese players.
DSP had ranked 4 at EVO 2005 for
Big up,
Street Fighter
Cellar,
II
and that is
Turbo,
true.
and used these statistics to state that he was a top American player. The more he would promote this, the more he'll be scrutinized for the details around his victory. What's more, the details about his life outside of the fighting game community were less savory.
I had to leave that other job, and as I told you, to go to EVO 2005, I had racked up my credit card bills like sky high. I owed a ton of credit card debt.
With more debt accrued.
So it seems like you were pretty serious about this too, like similar to the Japanese people. Oh, okay.
But Phil moved back in with his parents and was working a job at Best Buy. Here he was living off the high of his new title. Perhaps unrecognized and unvaluable to the population
He
at
told
large,
people at
that
Best
was
Buy
not
he
the
was
case.
fourth place American, or top-ranked American, just walking in. Hey guys, guess who's there?
It was all worth it.
For his local competitive environment that were in awe of Phil's achievement.
One day, my friend Tony, who mostly we were known for playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Capcom vs. SNK 2 together, said, hey, I got a couple buddies who actually like Super Turbo, and obviously that's the game you're really good at. You want to go play with them? And this is the first time I ever met John Rambo.
Hey,
so
Rambo enters the scene.
2006, I would guess. All right, so this is going to transition probably into me knowing Rambo and leading to being YouTuber and all of that. Is that it for FGC stuff? I'm surprised, but hey, he actually didn't go as heavily into it as I thought he would. I thought that he would cover a lot more, but it sounds like at this point that's the end of it. So to give you like a butt end of this,
It's not done
basically
yet.
after.
He's not done yet.
Oh wait, he might keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's keep going. He does keep going.
Jesus.
Never mind. I my fault. I jumped the
We
gun.
will
There's a
not
lot
let
more.
this
Let's keep
play
going.
out.
Like, sorry about the headlights moment. Like, oh my
God.
God, this is a guy who just came back from Evo and placed.
John Rambo, coincidentally sharing the name of the action movie character, was becoming DSP's best friend. They shared an expansive list of friends as DSP continued to be revered in his local competitive environment. He was even allowed back on SRK and was helping run regional competitions. As now patterned, his investments into the fighting game community continued to hurt his finances.
That's where he got fired right
from his
there.
job at Best Buy for using an employee discount to purchase equipment that would be used at East Coast Championships 2006. Now on unemployment, DSP's financial decisions became ever more reckless.
For 2006 and 2007, I started traveling the country, playing in all what was considered qualifying tournaments for EVO, which was the big national finale. Think like there's qualifying games in any sport, and then there's the big finals, right? As I started attending all these qualifier tournaments, I was winning them.
This is true, and this is footage of his victory at EVO East 2006.
Oh, Philip will love this one.
Cool.
He's fighting, he's going against Justin Wong right now. Oh, Philip will love that one.
Daigo, you're fucking next.
This was the height of his fighting game career right here. beating Justin Wong in a qualifying tournament.
I never played Daigo. It sucks. I never got to ever play Daigo. Instead, I played Takedo in every tournament, and literally Takedo wiped the fucking floor with me in every single tournament I ever played him in.
Yes.
But I never got to play Daigo.
As neat as these victories were,
and that was Justin Wong who I beat right there. That was me versus Justin in
had
the
to make
finals.
sure people
Evo
saw
East
that, huh?
2006. And then I went on the next year to beat Seth Killian in the finals of Evo East 2007. I also
Qualifiers.
entered all these different regional tournaments for Evo in 2006 and 7, and I either placed or won all of them. I did really well those years.
Traveling across...
Oh, okay, I'm glad I watched beforehand now, because the next segment is all about how stupid going to all those things was. that's the whole point of this segment.
country when he already secured a high position.
Did really well those years.
Traveling across the country when he already secured a high position in EVO meant that he was effectively wasting his money, as having more than one seat was pointless.
He's right. He's right. But I was trying to prove a point. Everyone had said that my 4th place victory in 2005 EVO was fake, that it was bullshit. And I said, I'm going to so disprove you guys. I'm going to go to all the qualifiers, and I'm going to show you that in every region of this country, I'm a top player in Super Turbo, and I did it. I fucking did it. In 2000,
At what cost, Philip?
Yeah, and then what happened?
2007.
Still a joke? But didn't win the big one. Good job.
Ruined my financiers for years to own the haters.
I went to
that's kind of like his it's kind of like those KC pay pigs or some of his pay pigs, right? They're ruining their own finances to own the haters. Like
And only one did I lose because it was on arcade, and there was no way for me to
Shout out to
practice on
Bucktooth, by the
arcade.
way.
I only had the console version,
NKI.
so I lost there. every single one where it was played on console, I either won or placed like top 3 or 5.
Okay.
I was kicking everyone's fucking ass in that game.
So again, was it a waste of time or
proved that I was good at Super Turbo, and at this point, no one was talking shit about the quality or skill level
Yes,
of
they
DSP
were.
in this game.
I hope you did good at Evo though, right? You definitely did good at the Super Bowl. You went to all these qualifiers. You did a great job. So you definitely did well at the real final battle, right? Let's see about that.
People outright accepted that I was good. I was actually becoming well respected in the fighting game community because I stopped being an online shit talker and started putting my money where my mouth was and winning a tournament.
Oh, you were putting your money where your credit cards were. Let's say.
Phil
Let's see.
is now seeded to be in the finals at Evo like 7 times. We need to actually take people who he beat and put them into the spots because we can't have a whole bracket that's just Phil playing.
These victories inflated his ego beyond measure and created an even more aggressive Phil.
First of all, you are fucking hypocrite. You have no.
Oh my God! All right, the Alpha is a radio show. All right,
measure penis
again with me being a stupid online troll. No exaggeration. I will tell you about this. I like being on this show
so
because
much
literally not
that
once
I called
was
in
ever
almost every
serious on
time.
the show. Okay, I would only call into this show when I was completely fucking drunk. I've talked about this. In my youth, I was an alcoholic. I drank a ton in my 20s, like way too much. So most of the time when this show was on, I would call in. They would always put me on. They wanted me as a guest, and I would be talking.
Okay, I'm gonna have to debunk that. If you just called in, you got on the show. It's not like they want you as a guest. Like anyone calls. It's just, oh, we got a call. Hold on, who's this? Hey, what's up? Who's this? That's how it works on the fucking show. So it's not like, yes, we get our prize guest, DSP. Please come on the show. Anyone could call in and be on the show.
I would call in. They would always put me on. They wanted me as a guest. And I would be talking so much shit, and I would be saying not complete nonsense.
Measuring my
drunk
penis.
off my ass. I only think
Hey,
the
why
one
won't you say
time I
Bunke's name?
actually called in sober was when I was driving home from Evo from the airport, and I had nothing to do. So I called into the show to talk while I was driving because I was bored. Outside of that, I was always fucking drunk as shit. So I couldn't imagine what he's going to bring up here. Maybe he'll even bring up the fucking Triforce Game Master shit, which will be hilarious if he does.
That's a lie. He called in during Evo 2007.
Yeah.
Bunke called when he was at the event.
Talking about my shit. You gonna whoop your fucking ass. Oh, really? You gonna whoop my fucking ass? Oh, I want to see that shit.
DSP continued to seek out.
Oh, come on, that's it?
Yeah,
that's all?
I could have done a
that's
lot more
gold
there,
mine.
but that was it.
No, that's a fucking gold mine, dude.
Dude, we're
I
20
can't
minutes
believe
in.
that's
We're 20 minutes in.
If he wants to.
I know. Yeah, that's good content. DSP React content.
To this thing.
You should go back to all the old videos and watch them.
Yeah.
Game Master thing. Oh, man. I want to talk about it, but this documentary is already too long. Maybe another time you guys can ask me about that, all right? Okay, here we go. Oh, by the way.
He's not going to mention this, but in this text here, Mix-Up 10-0'd him at ECC at Marvel's Capcom 2. Mix-Up against DSP.
Thank you to Captain Based Pants for a $5 super chat. He says, laughing at the detractor since 05. Let's fucking go. Long live the king. Thank you very much. And then Joe Man is here tonight and re-upped his membership.
And in most cases, it led to nothing. Other times, he miscalculated and threatened someone who could reciprocate threats, reinforced by real experience. Viscount, a veteran.
I hope this was a joke, though, right?
The fighting game community was lambasted by DSP. Quote, so first Phil was like,
dude, this thing was completely fake.
Well, let's let him explain it, please. I trust Viscount more than you. Go ahead. Doomer.
I was just saying, everything's a joke.
I know, everything's
everything
a
you
joke.
did, just a joke. I'm trolling.
Yeah. You see how not jokey it is from Viscount explaining it.
Let's go ahead and see what he has to say.
Yeah,
just
it's
so
right
everyone
there,
knows
actually.
This entire thing was fake, but let's go.
okay, well, you have to sign some document, because if I kill you, I don't want to be responsible. And
Is that fake?
Whatever. Then,
is that a joke for a single person? That's a joke for literally only Viscount. I'm saying it on purpose like that because that's how Philip said it. I don't know if that's correct, but...
Forgot to tell him it was a joke, though.
Yeah, okay, so just a joke for a single person. Got it.
There was an actual serious negotiation over who the ref was going to be. And
well, that's a joke too?
We settled on Walter from Connecticut, but I don't remember this
that's a
part
joke
either.
too.
Then there was an honest-to-God negotiation over weight, and that we were going to have to weigh in.
That must be a
and
joke
everything.
too.
Again, I'm not making any of this up. As dumb as this sounds, this absolutely happened. So one day, Phil IMs me on AIM and tries to back out. He was like...
Yeah, was that the joke part, or is that the punchline, I guess?
Hey,
okay.
so how about this? How about we pretend like we're going to fight, and then when a whole crowd is around us, we both do DX cross chops to the crowd. That'll be such a groove.
There's the joke.
This really happened.
Oh,
And
that's the punchline.
Because why?
Yeah.
Okay, it would be one thing if it was like the first time you heard of DSP and you hear that he talks shit online. Okay, this had been going on for like 6-7 years.
You
like,
seem to
people
have
knew
real
of me since
beef.
1999. At first, they knew me as the shit talker and all of this. And by the way, chronologically, I don't actually know if this is correct because I think this is now we're talking about 2006. So I don't know. I got to think about this chronologically.
It really is chronologically correct, but okay.
Isn't this first-hand information from the other party?
Who is much more trustworthy than DSP?
Never did I have a beef with Vizant. His name is Vizant. Everyone says Viscant because no one remembers to pronounce it like Vizant. That's why I say it like that. But originally his name was supposed to be Vizant, but now everyone says Viscant. I was cool with Jay. Like, there was no real...
first name basis. Let's go, buddies.
Okay, with Jay.
I think what happened is...
What? So, first name basis, but yet you were seriously talking about refs, who the ref would be, and weight classes. Okay, cool,
But now everyone says Viscant. Beef.
Okay.
I think what happened is, after so many people kind of went after him online and shit...
Yep, and that's true too, Frog
he
Machine.
changed his tune, but there was never, at least from my perspective, there was never going to be a fight between me and Jay. Ever. This is the dumbest thing possible.
I trust him more than you,
I've already
unfortunately.
been part of the FGC for 6+ years, right? Now I'm placing. I'm doing well. Why the fuck would I fight someone now? Dude, Evo 2006, I stayed with Jay at his home. He let me stay there with other players for free so we could attend Evo West.
Yeah?
How did I have a real feud with him?
So you're saying he lied then? I want to be very clear here, because it's very easy to check to see if this is true or not. So you're saying Vincent lied then, I guess. Okay.
This is so weird. This is bizarre that people took this seriously. It was never real.
And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? I honestly couldn't believe he was pulling this, and I was still mad about the whole thing and actually wanted to fight him. From that point on, there never really was any problem between him and I.
Here we go.
When it came to real fights, backing out was typical of Phil. But when it came to Street Fighter, he was more confident than he'd ever been.
No, there was no backing out was typical of Phil. Phil was never going to fight anyone. And everyone knew that.
You and the enemy.
I think we're losing our friendship with June.
He knew it was online shit talking. It was a few people who didn't get it. Everyone knew it was online shit talking. Everyone. And by the way, I would just like to say for the record, I was not the only one who talked shit. A lot of people in the community were shit talkers. I was probably one of the biggest ones.
Yes.
But this documentary
Probably one of the most annoying ones,
was
dude.
The one bad apple.
Both.
No.
I would say yes, annoying
There were lots
ones.
of people who were talking
Not the biggest,
shit,
like,
you know,
like
shit
talk,
talking
but
in
most
this
annoying
fucking
ones.
obnoxious.
That I have to be
Yes.
the central point of this, and I get it. I don't fault him for that. But this was not like, oh my God, Phil's the only one. No, this was it was like locker room shit. You talk shit to your opposition, you get the hype going, and then you go
Locker
and you play the
room
Machine
shit?
Fighter.
If you
There
pull
was
In the
no
locker room,
room,
you're face to face with people, bro.
Yeah, and then you gotta answer for your words. But okay, locker room talk. You mean online talk?
All right, we got the man of all hate, the one and only DSP. I call him Phil, because Phil's cool. Anyhow, Phil, how you feel about ST?
I mean, for years...
Damn, this is 2006. Look at me then. Jeez.
These same guys are on top. And yes, I'm talking about John Choi. I'm talking
Same
about
guys
Alex
are on top.
Valle. Playing ST, placing, okay, they're good. But to disrespect the people that got top 8 at Evolution, to make excuses because it's on console, it's ridiculous.
Oh, wait, well, Philip, hold on a second. You just said that everyone respected you at this point, so I don't know why you're even saying this, because everyone respects you, right? Didn't he just say that? I believe I heard that. Was that just...
Yeah, he got fourth.
Yeah, everyone respected him at this point, remember? This is weird. Weird you had to bring this point up to this gentleman asking you questions. Okay. Well, it seems like maybe you didn't have the respect you thought you did.
There you go. You heard it from DSP. Straight from DSP. DSP, thank you. Check out the shirt.
This, bitch.
Hey, that.
Oh, now that's a cool guy. That must have been the joke. That's part of the joke.
Claims, or on the other side, could Valle beat Phil?
Oh,
Alex
no.
Valle.
Oh, well, Philip is, according to his words here, he's respected at this point. So nothing negative's going to come from Valle here, right? Right?
This guy right here, living
First name
legend.
basis.
Street Fighter scene.
Alex, me and Alex.
First and foremost, you know what I gotta ask you? The STB.
This is my favorite.
With DSP.
I don't even consider it a beef. It's like another scrub, another day.
Oh!
Classic quote.
I don't even consider it a beef.
Dude, look at his face. What the fuck, man? Look
It's
at that
burning
guy.
him. He doesn't know how to respond. Oh no.
Another scrub, another day. I gotta get that quote on my soundboard. That's hype.
SP. I don't even consider it a beef. It's like another scrub, another day.
Yeah, see? But it's shit talking. That's fine. Like, I like that he said that. That was how that's how the FGC was.
I like him.
We would completely go back and forth.
Valle, make fun of my eating. Go to 10, 12 of my video and I eat. And people say I look disgusting. Laugh at that part, Valle.
Talk shit.
That'd be
That's
crazy.
not disrespect. In fact, that's like giving the rub. You know what I'm saying?
Giving the rub.
You said that about DSP.
Can you rub me,
cool.
Alex?
What? Now you want to rub?
That Alex Valle said that about me, right? That's what I mean. I talk shit about him. He talks shit about me. There's no beef. We don't want to fight each other. That was how it was.
Hey guys, welcome to TV actress, best known for her role on that incredible show, The Sopranos, that aired from 1999 to 2006. Well, she's displaying some incredible courage right now. Let's have a conversation about that. Let me show you guys what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So a little bit of a long-winded intro. It happens sometimes, but hopefully I laid the ground. This is true courage.
I am so confused by all of it. I mean, I am the token Fox liberal. I come on and talk sense about all of these things. I obviously I'm an actor, but I'm trying to figure out which actors are actually getting paid to push this narrative right now, because any true liberal is anti-war, anti-censorship, pro-health. They would be anti-mandate. That's totalitarian. That was authoritarian. And that was on the left. I mean, I know that there's a lot of, deep-rooted corruption, and sometimes they capture each party. Right now, that capture is on the left. And I don't understand how all of these actors and so-called peace lovers are pushing something that is tyrannical at the moment.
So
does it matter? No.
Well, you mentioned getting paid. What is it about then? Are they getting paid, or are they just following the herd because that makes it easy in their profession? You sticking out this way doesn't make it easy for you to get your next gig.
I'll never have another gig. At the very moment, all I care about is fighting for this country and just trying to wake up a few more of my fellow liberals to get back to the center of things and recognize that the things they always fought for, all of that weaponization on the left is camouflage. They're fighting for social issues that really don't matter when you look at the big picture of what's really happening behind the scenes. The social issues are irrelevant right now. Honestly, this country's falling to pieces, and the rest of the world will follow it.
You made a really strong case. Drea, are you supporting Donald Trump? Were you supporting RFK and now you are supporting Donald Trump? Where does that put you on this election?
I support Kennedy all the way, and if that means, I'm happy that there's unity right now. I think that, what's happening on the left, if anybody can really examine that, unity is a four-letter word right now, and so is freedom, and it's not on the right side of things right now. I don't think Trump is a lifelong politician, and neither was Kennedy, and I think that's the change we need. You have Ben Stiller talking about change. The change has been happening for 4 years. What is he going to change? I mean, we're here. We do need a change, and these two men are older men who really don't feel like doing this, I don't believe. And they, they're not playing politics here, which is why so many people are angry. They camouflage everything on the left with all this fake love, but behind that, it's not love.
And I really want to pick up where I left off actually in the intro, where I said this is the type of stuff that sparks conversation. And
he was the White House counsel at the time. You can't talk about Madeleine Westerhout she was the Oval Office director, or Hope Hicks, the White House comms person. These are all official positions, talking about official business. They talked about Trump's conduct in the Oval Office, about how he called Melania and stuff like that when he was running late because he's a good husband. But all of that is immune. Now, Mercan did not pause that case at all, and he done goofed big time, which is why he's trying to unring that bell, because he should have done what Judge Chutkan did, but he didn't, because he was racing to get a conviction, and they're trying their best to get it through. But I digress. Now, this is immunity, right? Remember, Judge Chutkan said, we will handle immunity. She paused everything. It's up, and now it's coming back down. So Chutkan wrote in her order with the court saying that there was an order denying without prejudice Trump's motion to dismiss the previous indictment, saying, well, we can, look, I'll consider your motion, Trump, once immunity has been resolved. Okay, so immunity is like number one. That's where we're focused. Now, the government agrees with this approach, says Jack. Both the Supreme Court directed such a process on remand. When they sent back this case, they told you to do this. And because the Supreme Court has stressed the importance of resolving immunity questions at the earliest possible stage in litigation. And so again, we are in the federal DC January 6th case, but look how good this quote is for Trump's New York case. The importance of resolving immunity questions at the earliest possible stage in litigation. That's not what Judge Mercan did. Judge Mercan said, we'll figure it out after the trial's over. We'll come back to that when it's a big deal. And then we'll figure it out later if it's important. Wrong. He goofed. Which leads me to believe that the sentencing is not going to happen in that case, but we'll get there. Now, to that end, the government proposes below a procedure by which Judge Chutkan can schedule briefing and consider our positions about the superseding indictment that the government plans to use at trial to implicate immunity. Now, to the extent the court considers Trump's other planned motions, the government proposes that the briefing schedule for those running parallel with the schedule for the immunity briefing. Now, below, the government provides more details. So what I want to do is pause right now. Now, we're going to go through this immunity determination. And we're going to see that Jack Smith is going to leave a lot of this up to the judge. So here they say, before we jump into another trial thread, and just really zoom in on this and get granular here, the court's decisions on how to manage its docket are firmly within its discretion, writes Jack Smith's team. So this is a punt. She said, give me a schedule, give me a calendar, give me some dates. He's not going to do it. He's going to say, it's your decision, Judge. You'll notice that the rest of this doesn't have a schedule. See this? Thank you. You know who does have a schedule? Trump right here, defendant's position right here. It says proposed schedule. September 30th, October 25th, November 8th, November 15th. Then we can go maybe to spring, additional proceedings if necessary. We go all the way to 2025. There's Trump's schedule. Hey, Jack, where's your schedule, dude? You're missing it. You just said it's firmly within the court's discretion. That's it? You're going to leave it to Judge Chutkan? Pathetic. Now, to allow the court to undertake the fact-bound analysis that the Supreme Court prescribed, remember that the judges in the Supreme Court, when they talked about immunity, they said there's basically three buckets. There's absolutely immune stuff that are the roles and responsibilities of the president. If the president is articulated in the Constitution and have that power, then you can't take it away from him. You can't prosecute him. I say him, it's him, because the president can't be prosecuted for stuff that was officially his responsibility. Then there's other stuff that you say, I don't know, we don't really know if this is presidential conduct or not. But if it's inside the outer perimeter and it's arguable that it's within the scope of the president's power, it's at least presumptively immune. Then you have the other stuff that is not immune. And that's what we're asking about. So we have to go through a fact-based analysis and look at the indictment and ask ourselves, every fact in that indictment, in that big, long speaking indictment from Jack Smith that he had to redo because it was so bad, he redid it. And I'm going to show you how bad it was, how much they deleted from it. But when you go through that, you're going to see that it was just filled with immune stuff. So now he's got to disambiguate that. He's got to try to separate the spaghetti from the meat sauce. It's very hard to do that once they're already mixed. So he's saying Now, the government proposes that it file an opening brief in which it will explain why the immunity that the Supreme Court dictated does not apply to the categories of allegations in the superseding indictment. So Jack's first indictment was bad. It was filled with immune conduct, as we talked about. So then he tried to delete that, right? He's like, oh, I'm going to redo that again. Second draft. He deleted what he thought was the immune conduct or additional unpled categories of evidence. So there's other stuff, like we have other evidence that we haven't put in this document that the government might introduce at trial. And so that raises eyebrows right there. What other categories? Additional unpled categories of evidence. What else? What else is in there that we don't know about? Nothing. The government's, other than the Homeland Security agents or the FBI agents that were undercover, dozens, we had estimated at least 50 from the Proud Boys trial, Homeland Security agents. Maybe they'll tell us about that. I doubt it. Now, the government's proposed brief would provide the defendant and the court with detailed information about the content, form, and the context of Trump's conduct, distinguish his private electioneering activity, right? So running for office is not presidential conduct, from official action, and rebut the presumption of immunity as to any conduct that the court may deem official. So they're saying, look, and the argument is, if you're running for office, campaigning is not part of the office. Let's say, if you're going to take that distinction, I think there's good argument that that's maybe not true. But when we're talking about Trump's conduct, one of the things that is within the presidential duties would be to make sure we've got fair elections, to make sure our elections are not rigged by the CIA, by the FBI, by the social media companies, by Mark Zuckerberg, as they were, by guys like Mark Elias filing lawsuits, by secretaries of states changing the election rules based on COVID. Okay, Trump, as the commander-in-chief, as the chief executive, has an obligation, a sworn duty, to execute the laws to make sure that that is not happening. And that's what he did. So that would be official. So you can distinguish that from campaigning for office. Little different. And Trump was in that category of making sure the elections were not rigged. And obviously we know in hindsight they were. We knew at the time in real-time sight that they were. But now we know in hindsight, now it's even worse. But they're saying that we're going to go through this and we're going to say that anything that Trump says is marginally immune, or if he puts it in that second category of election protection, we're going to show why that's not true. Such a brief would position Trump in his response to oppose the government's position and raise any other immunity claims based on the superseding indictment, as I just did. No, that's not campaigning. You call it campaigning. We call it election protection. After the government's reply, the court can assess the parties' arguments on the record and conduct any further proceedings it deems necessary to resolve these immunity issues. Now, Trump also, they say, so Jack Smith here is saying, let's submit briefs. So we'll say why our new indictment is amazing. Trump will say why the new indictment is bad, and then we'll take it from there. And then we'll resolve the immunity issues there. Now, let me show you just how bad the new indictment was and how bad the old indictment was. This is a thread from Roger Parloff. He writes over for Lawfare, and he is no fan of Trump, but he does great work, and he's given us a pretty sobering analysis on what happened with Jack Smith's indictment. Remember, Jack Smith has indicted Trump on the January 6th case twice. He got the original indictment, then he got the superseding indictment, which came back out after the Supreme Court issued their immunity ruling. And what Jack Smith did in indictment number 2, the second draft, is he deleted a ton of stuff. And we were doing a little bit of a compare and contrast between the two documents, but it was so much deleted and changed, it was kind of hard to parse through it on a live stream together. But what Roger has done is given us the change log of what happened. And so he says it's pretty bad for Jack and for their side. It's true. He says, well, the DOJ was involved in this, but there's a lot of stuff that was cut. He says the whole DOJ and the Jeff Clark chunk of the case had to go. All right? Trump, DOJ, any interaction with his Department of Justice, clearly official conduct that a president can do is communicate with his DOJ. So all of that, Jack Smith said, was illegal. It's criminalized. No, that's immune. So he deleted it. All parts of the case, he writes, have been watered down. due to the suppression of the, he says, damning conversations that Trump had, right? Damning meaning true, because Trump knew that there was rigging, and there was clear rigging all over the country. DOJ, White House counsel, and White House advisors. Now, he says what this new indictment has done is decimated proof that Trump knew his election falsehoods were lies. Right? He says over and over, Trump brought claims of election fraud to the DOJ. The DOJ refuted them because Bill Barr just sat on his big butt. Then Trump spewed the same false claims over and over. Turns out Trump was right about many of those things. So you can see this all got deleted. Trump summoned the incoming acting attorney general to discuss this. He's allowed to do that. During the meeting, the DOJ officially refuted Trump's claims about the State Farm Arena and the activity shown on tape. They said, nope, this was all benign. All that has to be deleted. All this had to be deleted. Trump talked with his acting attorney general, his acting deputy attorney general, about the State Farm case and arena and all the things, all deleted. Trump talked about the Michigan vote dump claim with the attorney general. Michigan, of course, corrupt with Jocelyn Benson, who responded that what had occurred in Michigan had been the normal vote counting process, and there's no fraud in Detroit, blah, blah, blah. Right? So Jack Smith put all of that in there. Trump's allowed to talk to his AG. He's allowed to talk to his deputy AG. Each time he talked to the AG, they said, no, your claims are false. There was no election fraud, Trump. Just stop being so conspiracy theorists. You just sit there and just do what Bill Barr tells you to do. Turns out Trump was right about this. But look, Roger reports, other smoking guns were also suppressed, right? These are smoking guns, he says. Now, deleted. Jack Smith deleted this in his new indictment, saying on December 23rd, Trump's chief of staff personally observed the verification process and notified that they were conducting themselves in an exemplary fashion and would find fraud if existed. Trump tweeted that Georgia officials and the signature verification process were trying to hide evidence of fraud. He called them terrible people, right? So this, he's saying Trump's chief of staff went down there, said it's amazing. Trump simultaneously said there's terrible people. And obviously they're talking about two different people, right? He's saying state election officials, then he's talking about other people, probably like Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, right? We're talking about two different people. People who may be in the balloting locations, actually doing the work. He's sitting there watching people, doing a great job on that. But then you talk about guys like Raffensperger and others who are part of the great steal. And so another casualty, they say, when Trump talked to Kevin McCarthy, Trump told McCarthy that the crowd at the Capitol was more upset about the election than McCarthy was. Yeah, McCarthy didn't care. Are you kidding? McCarthy didn't care. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a anti-Democrat House Rep Speaker now. The last example, look at all these got deleted. Trump repeatedly refused to approve a message directing the rioters to leave the Capitol, as he was never obligated to do. As urged by his most senior advisors, Trump can't communicate to the feds to leave. Should have been Nancy Pelosi communicating to the feds, or FBI Director Wray. So they say they wanted Trump to issue tweets, but then he said, be peaceful, right? So they were mad about his tweets. He's allowed to make tweets. All that's not criminal at all. All of it got deleted because Jack Smith is corrupt and incompetent. He tried to put it in here, even though he shouldn't have. The defendant released a video on Twitter that he had just taped. In it, he said that the election was stolen. We had an election that was stolen from us. He's right. He says that you're very special and we love you, right, in that. He says, go home in peace. They leave all that out. So, anyways, Trump, all of that was in the original indictment. And you can see Jack Smith had to delete it all. And Roger Parloff's not very happy about it. Says, unless Trump's attorneys stand silent, they could open the door to a lot of this. But the evidence is so abundant. He's so upset. He says, I can't believe how unjust this SCOTUS ruling is, right? I'm so upset about it. A lot of this got thrown out. The indictment has just gotten shredded. So you can just see. When you do a change log, compare and contrast, as we suspected on the day, anything that's even questionable that's official Trump conduct is gone. And a lot of it is gone. So that's what Jack Smith is talking about here. He's saying we deleted a ton of bad stuff. Okay, a lot of it's gone. So why don't you take a look at this new indictment? Then we can decide from there whether there are other immunity claims. And since all of it's been deleted, then Trump can come back and say, oh, well, you should have deleted that, you should have deleted that, you should have deleted that. Now, Trump also, they say, intends to file a motion to dismiss the superseding indictment on the basis that the grand jury that returned it was exposed to immunized conduct. So the new indictment needs to go too, because consideration of that motion would require the court in the first instance to make the very determinations described above. So they're saying, remember, Jack Smith said that he presented this evidence to a new grand jury. And so they're saying, well, you also showed them, like if you read the grand jury presentation, if you read the transcripts from the grand jury, they showed the grand jury immune stuff. He should have never done that, because consideration of that motion would require the court in the first instance to make the very determinations described above. The government believes that the court should consider Trump's grand jury claim only after conducting the fact and context specific analysis of whether the superseding indictment contains immunized conduct. So look at what the grand jury created or approved, see if it's in there, and if it's in there, then we'll deal with that as that problem. But don't look at what we presented to the grand jury to say maybe we showed them immunized conduct, but we just didn't include it in the indictment, which is really where the problem is, right? You can't even present the immunized conduct. So Jack Smith is kind of like, well, let's go backwards only if it looks like it's a problem now. Trump is saying, no, we got to go look at it how it, from the inception, like the seed was poisoned from the very beginning. To do otherwise would be inefficient for this court, because it would entail successive rounds of immunity determinations, and it would pose the risk of multiple interlocutory rounds of appellate review. So this is just so good. It's just gold. So Trump's defense team, and we made this point. Remember, the Supreme Court said that you're going to have to, this is going to have to come back down to the district court. We'll have an evidentiary hearing on whether immunity applies or not as to certain facts. And we said at that time that after that evidentiary hearing, that there would be an appeal, right? Trump would appeal it, because Judge Chutkan would obviously come out and say, oh no, Jack, this new indictment's amazing. You deleted everything that's appropriate. And so Trump, you're back on track for trial. Trump will say, no, that's obviously dumb, Judge Chutkan. What you've decided after this evidentiary hearing is also wrong and needs to be appealed. What they're talking about now is this happening at multiple stages. So we're now in the pretrial process, right? The indictment's been filed. We've got pretrial proceedings as we work our way towards a trial. But Trump is saying, we're going to appeal it before any of that, okay? Rewind the clock. We're not in the pretrial process having an evidentiary hearing, then doing an appeal. That's too far down the road. We're going to go all the way back to the inception of this puppy. And we're not challenging this halfway through, all the way at the birth. We're going to appeal from the grand jury presentation. It should have never even come out of a grand jury into an indictment. Then, right, appeal that up and come back down. Okay, well, if that can go to the indictment, then we have the indictment, then we challenge the indictment. So it's multiple, okay, multiple bites at this apple, because immunity you can really bring up repeatedly because it immunizes you from the whole process. So they say, Judge, don't do this. Like, if you let us go all the way back to the grand jury, we're going to be here like forever. But the government is prepared to file its opening immunity brief at any time if you say so. So just like, let us tell you why our second draft indictment is much better. They also say Trump plans to file an additional motions to dismiss, I'm sure. The court has indicated that it will conduct its immunity determinations before resolving these other issues. So let's say Trump says, right, Trump wants to file a motion now to dismiss the case because Jack Smith is not a real boy. He's not even presidentially appointed or confirmed by the Senate. Totally illegitimate. So if Trump files that motion, right, she's going to, well, I'm not even going to consider that until we talk about immunity. The government notes that it may promote judicial economy and resources for the court to schedule briefing of all other Rule 12 motions concurrent with the immunity litigation. That way, all motions will be fully briefed. The court can later determine when to take them in order. If the court sets a deadline for those other motions, the court requests the court set the same date for Trump's opening briefs for the government's open immunity brief, followed by parallel deadlines. Now, Trump's proposed schedule, as below, Jack Smith didn't even give us one because he's such a lazy, illegitimate prosecutor, also contemplates a separate deadline in motions. The government does not see a reason to delay immunity determinations and other reasons to separately address Trump's motions, and so that's what we have to say, Your Honor. So that's from Jack Smith, and this is so weak. If you're a Democrat and you're like, Jack Smith's going to take out Trump, you got to be reading this just like, this sucks. Because
so, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm glad you're here. Well, on outside while I was recording. I'm not a religious man by any means, okay? But I would consider that a divine intervention of some kind at least. The story consists of this punk rock band known as, you guessed it, the Dustborn, that are currently on the run because they're transporting something you find in a clearance bin at Walmart for like $5. Anyways, you're delivering this thing essentially from California all the way up to Maine. But while on the road, you've got to constantly maintain the reputation of your crew or else they'll be mad at you or something. I didn't know, and I didn't care to find out. On the way, we get to learn the characters, okay? We have Sai, who specializes in fucking swearing every fucking sentence she fucking speaks.
Fuck! That was fucked up. All of this for that fucking thing!
And constantly has a whole, woe is me complex. Then we have Theo, otherwise known as the dad of the group. He's a tech dude. Humor's dry as a well-done steak, and constantly just gets verbally beat down by the others. Next is Gnome, and their power, and I wish I was shitting you when I told you this, is gaslighting people. Yeah. And then there's your character Pax, the leader of the band who's also good at using her voice as a weapon. She can shout at you, manipulate you, pretty much just talks down to you if you quote
I'm not demanding, I'm asking.
I think that your mom is, it's been a long time since I've seen a parent like your mom was today. She was on her knees on the ground, sobbing, because that's how worried she is about you. So I do know that that's not where you spent last night. So where'd you spend last night?
I didn't sleep last night.
So where's the last place you slept?
My mother and my father's house.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've talked to your mom, and so I know that you hadn't been staying there.
Right, it's my father's weekend. I go back and forth, though, because my father is a little bit abusive.
Okay.
Ellen mentioned her father's abusive behavior relatively out of context. Her parents shared joint custody, which explains why she went back and forth between their houses. Further, her response bared no relevance to the question. Consider that Ellen conspired to kill her father and very recently encouraged and stood by as her boyfriend murdered him, lifted his body into the trunk of her father's car, and threw it over an embankment. Her statement regarding her father's abusive behavior extends beyond a lack of remorse, resembling something more like revenge. When investigators spoke to Ellen's old friends, they shared that she had been consistently confiding in them about the abuse.
I know that he was kind of rough on her, and she said that he would, emotionally abusive and physically abusive, but I'm not sure how true that is.
What she would bring up is things weren't they were not good at her household. She felt her dad wanted to kill her. He started getting abusive. He started mistreating her sisters and her.
When the Medford PD posted details surrounding the crime and suspects on their Facebook timeline, there was an outpouring of mourning and kind words for Aaron. Many comments portrayed Aaron as the opposite of abusive, stating, Aaron cared more about his girls than anything. Members of the Fryer family and the Medford community were shocked.
So what's the last house you left from?
My father's house.
Okay. And when did you leave there?
About noon.
Okay. And then where'd you go?
Just wherever I felt like going. I just went for a walk. And I didn't stop walking.
Listen to me, okay, and let you know what's going on, okay?
Yeah, he was with like a 15-year-old. People were automatically like, okay, bro, like that's not cool. And a lot of people stopped talking to him. And he wanted her at any cost. No one
insisted that he was protecting Ellen. What we are about to observe is among the most bizarre behavior we have seen in an interrogation up to this point.
Is that a camera right there? I'd rather not have a camera aimed at me.
I don't. Well, you can talk to Detective Ford, but I think they're required to. So it's nothing. Like I've had a body cam all day. I mean.
Well, yeah, but see, I don't.
My friend, we're recorded wherever we go. You know that.
Even the police bathroom?
Seems like it. Probably, yeah. You have a seat, man. That way I can sit down.
Well, you can sit down.
Yeah, well, I'm not allowed to sit unless you're sitting. So that way I can sit. Well.
Russell tries to show dominance and control by stating he doesn't want to be recorded, and then after the officer tells him he can sit down, he replies, "You can sit down." This immediately shows he's trying to display his lack of fear of authority. Of the three who participated in the crime earlier that morning, Russell appears to be the least impacted. While Gavin's behavior evolved from casually polite to distraught, and Ellen's from flat to angry, Russell's is steadily lighthearted and upbeat. His conduct is eccentric, driven by a variety of psychological factors that will break down as his interrogation progresses.
My mom kind of took him under her wing, trying to help him. He mentioned that he's autistic, and so he has trouble finding work. And it wasn't too long before that my youngest son was diagnosed with autism. So that was our kind of like our instant connection. He did a lot of family things with us. He spent Easter with us, has gone to dinners with us. So we're pretty close. I mean, he calls me his sister. He calls my mom.
Really? Yeah. That sounds good, huh?
It's kind of a nice place.
Yeah, it's probably soundproof so that people,
well, people can get loud and hold themselves. Because sometimes we bring, like, drunks here from driving.
Drunks are the worst.
Yeah. Not a big fan of them.
Not a big fan of them. Like, I protect people, like I said.
Russell persistently claims that he owns a protection business. He unshakingly asserts this, and the police don't at any point question it. When individuals are convinced of something untrue despite all evidence indicating otherwise for an extended period, they're said to hold a delusion. Oftentimes, delusions are bizarre, meaning they're highly improbable or not set in reality. E.g., an individual consistently believes that the neighbor reads minds. Other times, delusions are non-bizarre, involving beliefs that are within the realm of possibility, e.g. consistently believing one is being followed. Russell's protection business could be a delusion. While outside of the norm, it could nonetheless be true, qualifying as non-bizarre. We would require additional information, such as input from friends and those Russell claims to protect, to determine this.
But I try not to resort to violence.
Good.
I always try and talk to the person.
Yeah.
Her father is a drunk, compared to what she's told me. And I've only talked to him over the phone probably once or twice. He seemed really not that good of a father.
Really?
Yeah. He,
Her father?
Yeah.
Who is her father's name, you know?
All I know him as
if I know.
is, Aaron. That's all I know. Aaron. Of course, then again, I know, like, Aaron Martinez, Aaron, her father, but I don't know his last name. And I know Aaron Novi, so.
Okay.
Russell starts rambling, and the investigator allows him to do this. This is a strategy to keep the accused talking so they feel comfortable, and the more comfortable a person feels, the more likely they are to say something incriminating. This is also a way for the officer to build trust.
I met him when I was living in Medford, working at a place called the Purple Parrot.
They can't join our group.
He was trying to find a job so he could find a place to live because he was homeless. He was very sweet, very clean cut, you know. very nice. He's just a savior. That's all he wanted to do was help people. You know, all his life he was let down. He went from foster home to foster home to foster home. So I would let him come in to get warm. And then one day, he didn't even have a coat. And it was like 3 degrees. And I go, where are you going? And he says, well, I'm just going to walk around until McDonald's opens. And I'm like, no, you're going to come home with me so you'll be warm. You know, I felt like, enough was enough. This poor kid needs some help, and no one's going to help him.
I think it was like a good 2 years that he was in our lives. Mostly in my mom's life. Like he really did become like a son to her. Anytime he was looking for help or willing to take help, she would help him.
Russell stated previously that he's diagnosed with autism. As a neurodiverse individual, Russell likely struggles with certain aspects of communication. Although he largely displays well-developed social skills, he exhibits circumstantial speech here. The various individuals named Aaron are not directly related to the conversation at hand. We'll continue to observe examples that support this diagnosis, as well as others, throughout the interrogation.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think I've ever met her father before.
Yeah.
I don't think I've met her before.
You don't want to.
I've never met you, and I don't think I've met
He had
other guy
a hunting rifle. Yeah.
Is it a nice one, or?
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
I've never met her.
How'd you know he had one?
She told me.
Okay.
Because he likes to drink a lot.
Oh, okay.
So, and the other night, the reason why I was helping her was because he went into her room and laid next to her.
I don't like where this is going. Really? She tell you that?
Yeah. And that's why I got her out.
Okay.
So, yeah, we went down to the park. We met up there. I told her just, leave everything.
Yeah.
And just, get the hell out of there. Grab, a
what
bag
park?
of clothes. Union, I think.
He says Union is a question, with his voice trailing upward. These are both indications that he may be lying. He hasn't said prior to this, so it's not a normal pattern of his speech, and answering a question with the inflection of a question shows uncertainty in your answer, either because you're lying or aren't confident in the response being correct.
Yeah, but I've always been kind of a protector of people, so. Okay.
This isn't the first time Russell has claimed to be a protector of people.
He looks out for people, and I think that he takes it a little too far. One of my family members drank a lot, and he wanted to go over and beat him up because he was emotionally abusive to me. I really disagree on what he did, but I think that he had the right intentions. He would always give you a jacket off his back. I mean, he did it in the worst way, but he just cares.
And he also had this grand idea of creating a community for homeless people or just young people that need help, that don't have help. So it's like he was always trying to go out and resource that, trying to build that up. He still does. He still talks about that. People look to him like a protector, and he really liked that. It made him feel valued, gave him a sense of purpose, because that was another problem. He didn't really have a sense of purpose. He was just kind of left in the wind.
Unless people piss me off, then they become the, not really target in a bad way.
Yeah.
Just target as in someone that needs a firm talking to.
Okay.
Or a slap across the face, depending on the situation.
How much do they pay you for that? Have you been paid yet, or?
Not financially.
No.
Okay. Because I can't legally work with the SSI.
Yeah.
Because I can only work under the table jobs, and those don't.
How much SSI do you get?
$735 plus a $22 check.
Net a month?
Yeah.
Russell begins giving the officer details of his family and personal life, which is a good indication he's developed trust with him. The investigators enter the room, and the officer asks one of them to step out.
Can I talk to you for just a quick minute? Hey, take care, buddy.
You too.
Likely to brief him on what they discuss that is relevant to the case, to see if he is consistent, and possibly to also let him know a little about his personality. So the investigator knows the best approach and techniques to deploy in getting what he needs from the interrogation.
Before we get too wrapped up in this thing, I just got here to work.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to explain why we're here today for you and just have
I don't even know why I'm here.
Okay. I'm going to have you just sit and listen to what the story is. And
okay. Yeah, I have nothing to hide. So.
Okay, good. You were very cooperative with this on that last deal.
Except for when the car like drove up onto the sidewalk, I was like a little bit startled.
Yeah, surprised, right?
Yeah. Not too surprised in my line of work. Okay. And then they told me to get on the ground, and I was trying to go on the ground.
Okay.
And they actually like helped me onto the ground. So, like they told me to get on the ground, so I'm trying to get on the ground. You don't have to push my ass. Seriously. Seriously? I can do it on my own, dumb it.